What is up, everyone? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. This episode of the Smoking Tire is brought to you by Vivid Seats. You know, we all love a night out, whether it's seeing our favorite band, being in the theater, going to a race, or cheering on our favorite team. And with Vivid Seats, you can attend the concert, show, or sporting event of your choice at a great price. Vivid Seats is the top source for tickets for all the live events that you want to go to. You can sort by price or look for seats in the section and row of your choice. To make things even better, Vivid Seats is giving listeners an exclusive promo code for new customers to receive 10% off your first purchase with Vivid Seats by downloading the app and using code TIRE. Go to the Google Play Music or the Apple App Store and download the Vivid Seats app. Use promo code TIRE for 10% off your first purchase with Vivid Seats. I think it may be in all caps, actually. Try all caps TIRE. Every purchase is backed by a 100% buyer guarantee. From the biggest concerts and games to the hottest theater and more, Vivid Seats has it all. Download the app and enter promo code TIRE for 10% off your first purchase with Vivid Seats. Make a memory that lasts a lifetime and let Vivid Seats help you get to your favorite live event. Theater, sports, races, music, you name it. 10% off your first purchase with Vivid Seats at the App Store in Google Play or iOS and use code TIRE. Of course, we're also brought to you by Autotempest.com. I love Auto Tempest. Whether you are trying to just browse around, whether you're looking at a specific vehicle to buy or sell, Auto Tempest takes all the legwork out of it, because rather than having to search every single site and put all the same criteria in over and over again, I hate double work. Autotempest.com handles that for you. It searches all the top sites at once, like Car Soup, Cars Direct, eBay Motors, and more, and compares those results to AutoTrader and Craigslist nationally, not just locally in your area. Nationally, folks, Autotempest.com, they've been a great partner. We love to have them. No special codes or anything. Just check it out at Autotempest.com. All right, this episode of the Smoking Tire Podcast features us a new face. New face in the studio. We got Tim Neely from Tim's Enthusiast Garage. He's owned a bunch of weird stuff. He's got a really cool Lotus twin turbo V8, and he's a relatively new to the YouTube game, but he's a fun guy. He's a good hang, and we're happy to have him. Tim Neely of Tim's Enthusiast Garage on the Smoking Tire Podcast. What's up, folks? It's Monday, and boy, do we got a week of live podcasting if you've joined us just today. Tim Neely of Tim's Enthusiast Garage is in the studio. What's happening, brother?
Hey, man.
Thank you for coming down.
California. It's beautiful out here.
It's nice to have someone on the show who looks just like me. Yes. Zach, is that the picture?
I'm turning down the brightness.
Oh, wait, it looks fucking washed out. It looks like we're in a Western. Yeah, see, that looks normal. And go back to their camera. That looks normal now.
The brightness was turned up because it was dark before.
Oh, but, darkness is spreading.
Darkness, everybody, darkness.
Darkness. What's happening, Tim?
You know, enjoying the roads out here.
Yeah.
I've been driving.
You Midwestern?
Yeah, Midwestern.
Where Midwestern?
Columbus, Ohio. So lots of straight.
I was just there.
Really? Oh, yeah. I was at Mid-Ohio. I lived 20 minutes.
Oh, from Mid-Ohio?
20 minutes from Mid-Ohio. I was in Michigan.
Actually, the roads around Mid-Ohio are pretty nice.
Yeah. So 20 minutes north of me is Mid-Ohio, and everything south of me is pretty much like cornfield square, and everything north is pretty fantastic. So
it was fucking cold, man.
It was.
I mean, not
it
like,
has been. I mean,
not by like general standards, but by being outside at a racetrack all day standards, like high 20s, low 30s.
Did it rain? Did it rain for you?
It rained for 5 minutes. It rained and snowed in between the Saturday and Sunday races, but it did not rain during the races.
Did you have a mechanical issue?
We had many
mechanical issues. Yeah,
it was a very frustrating. I love Mid-Ohio when the weather's nice. Yeah. I love Mid-Ohio. It's such a fun racetrack.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to have it in your backyard.
Yeah, I mean that's your home track, right? So you got a lot of laps there.
Yeah, I mean a fair amount. Yeah, I'm not an instructor or anything, but try to do like BMW, PCA, Audi Club days there, and run what I brung.
Did you brung your Lotus? Is that what you brung?
I've brung my Lotus. I've brung a caged Fox body. I've brung
all right.
GTI on slicks.
So you got some things.
I got some things.
A few things.
Yeah, I've done some things. It's usually whatever club it is, I try to not bring that car. So like to earn the ire of everyone in the Porsche club, you bring the GTI. Or the Fox.
You have to pass people, in their Porsches and the Fox.
Because they all, and not having a. I have some pretty great memories of that. Where they're confident in their abilities to smoke you and.
Yeah,
and tell you that they're going to. Oh, you shouldn't have brought the knife to the gunfight. So, yay, those guys.
Sometimes people run out of bullets, and you can stab them.
Exactly.
That picture that Zach has up right there is pretty much a metaphor for my Mid-Ohio weekend.
Oh my gosh! Right.
There was 2 clutches. There were 2 gearboxes. And there was a Bosie just fucking changing shit. Oh God, when you fly to a race. Now, granted, it wasn't as frustrating for me as it was for maybe the person who owns the car.
Right.
But when you fly to a race and get a hotel and a rental car and all that, and the car fucking just breaks, God, it sucks balls.
Yeah, it's bad times.
Sucks balls. But you know what? It's a nice place.
It is a great track. I love it. It's Watkins Glen. Is probably my second.
I've never driven there, but that's
the Glen.
We filmed there. You drove there.
I drove the Glen.
Fun.
It's fucking rad.
The Glen feels. I haven't actually driven it since they resurfaced it.
But when did they resurface it?
Like last year.
I think. I drove it like maybe 3 years ago.
Yeah, it was 3 or 4 years ago, and it I don't know. It feels like European. I don't know that. I've done the Nürburgring, and I've been to Spa. I haven't driven Spa.
Spa is probably the best racetrack in the world.
It looks.
It has the most perfect tarmac you can imagine.
Yeah.
Just perfect, beautiful, perfect tarmac. And every corner, with the exception of that little fucking bullshit squiggly, every other corner at the track seems to have been designed absolutely flawlessly.
It's a gorgeous. That whole region is fantastic.
You can't really describe the elevation at Spa. Is absurd, it does not translate to video at all.
Nürburgring's the same way. When you get to Nürburgring, it's almost shocking how much elevation there is.
Yeah.
You can do.
You run some laps?
I have.
In what?
A Scirocco.
Oh, fun. With like RSR or one of them?
Yeah.
I know RSR.
With RSR.
Yo, they're
Ron
fantastic.
is a great guy.
Oh, you know Ron?
Yeah,
he's a character.
He is a character.
Ron Simmons is fucking out of his mind.
Yeah.
Yeah. How did you meet him?
I actually helped a friend set up take people from the United States to there for like vacations.
Was your friend Ross Bentley?
I know Ross Bentley. Well, not really well, but I've met him on numerous occasions, and
he's a baller.
He's doing that now.
He's doing a thing with RSR. Yeah, I if you go to the Nürburgring, I strongly recommend RSR. They've got a fleet of. There you go. Zach's got the pictures.
Yeah, those guys.
Got a fleet of really cool cars. I went out with Ron Simmons on the Nürburgring in the wet. He was driving in an M3 and wanted to show off his fucking drifting skills in the wet, and he scared the shit out of me.
That was awesome to watch, though.
It was hilarious, but it was fucking scary.
The guys that work there are. We took some cars out like around the Nürburgring.
Oh yeah, they do their street drive tour. Yeah,
and even that they're like, okay, now like you want to go like quick? Oh sure, we want to go quick. They're like insane.
Quick,
like Ray,
quick
I think
to
Ray
them
is one of the drivers, and it's like pretty. Yeah.
Can you imagine? You could run an F12 Ferrari there and drive around the ring.
You should not do that.
No one. Right.
If you're,
I don't know. Is that F12? Is that a track car or? Is that a street only car?
I think it's. I mean, it's the one Ron drives a lot.
Maybe it's a street only.
I think that F12 might be a street drive only car.
That would be smart because that's.
They used to have a McLaren. You could rent, and it breaks a lot.
Yeah,
because I mean.
I think the slow cars are better at the Nürburgring.
For sure.
Yeah. I drove a fucking Renault Megane, the RS 260 or RS 265, whatever it was.
I loved that car.
It was all right.
I posted a video of it. This is like 2 years ago or a year and a half ago, but I really liked that car.
I thought it was like Focus ST like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was I like it a lot. But it's not Fiesta ST.
It's not as fun as a Fiesta ST, no.
Which would be, I think, probably the ultimate Nürburgring.
It would be really fun,
you know? I mean, just stock, factory.
I've told it a few times on the show, but like I went out
My first 2 laps were dry, and then it was fucking wet. Like, it started raining hard.
Yeah.
And
like whole track?
whole
right?
track.
Oh my
First,
God.
lap 3 was down the back half of the track, and then the 4th lap was full wet. And I was driving slow. Like I mean, real slow. Like, did it say unblock? Did someone accidentally hit block on there? Mm-hmm. Oops. That should say follow. I definitely did not block you.
I got a follow message. I got a follow
message.
message.
I definitely didn't block you,
I didn't
Tim.
get the heartbreak message.
So I don't apologize there for an accidental blocking. I assure you it wasn't anything you did. But I'm going 50 on the back of the Nürburgring.
Yeah.
And I got motored down by a classic Mini.
Oh, that's awesome.
Going 100 plus.
Yeah.
And I got back and I go, Ron, what the fuck was that guy doing? And he goes, oh, that's, Sven or whoever the fuck. And he apparently lives on the track.
Oh, it's the blue one, right?
The blue one. And he only goes out when it's wet.
Yeah.
And it's
Really?
I
all-wheel
believe
drive.
it's all-wheel drive.
Yeah.
It's a Honda, it's a
What?
K20, it's a K20 I think, or K24 with a Honda CRV all-wheel drive system, right, Zach?
Yeah, it's wide body. I think
Yeah.
it had dirt tires on it when I saw it.
Yeah, it almost was lifted a little bit.
Yeah.
It was like a rally car.
That sounds terrifying.
It was gnarly.
It is cool.
And dude, he passed me like I was in fucking reverse. It was, there it is in the picture, that blue picture. Yes, that was it. Dude, this guy.
That makes the
guy
trip right there.
fucking
Champion.
mobbed on me. It was.
250
incredible.
horsepower VTEC turbo. Yeah, the engine's in the back. It's got this crazy wing.
Yeah. Side pod intakes.
Wow.
Let's see, folks. If you go to YouTube, you could Google 250 horsepower Ring Mini,
Yep.
and you'll know it's blue with white wheels.
Apparently, he lives in or on the track. Just right around
That's
there.
fantastic.
Yep, that was it, and it was bananas.
Dude.
And then
You
we
real
drank,
Jan.
and then we went to the Piston Klause and drank
Oh, yeah.
all of Ron's expensive Italian wine.
Ron didn't buy me. I don't think Ron bought me wine.
I think it was because we started, but he only brought it out because once we got off the track after the rain, we went back to the shop, we started taking shots. And so by the time we left the track, we were 4 or 5 shots deep, and we just continued to get very drunk.
A buddy that wrecked his car on the ring, he was stationed in Germany, and he actually, he's part of that taking people over to Germany thing, and I'm trying to remember, I think it was either a M3, E36 M3 or an E39 wagon, and he went off hard. YouTube corner.
Yeah. in YouTube corner.
Yeah, which is great. I'm sure there's a video
There's
of that
definitely
somewhere.
a video somewhere.
Every week. But yeah, that was rough. And I think it was 1,500 euros or something.
To pay for the track.
Yeah, the car was pretty much, I think it was an E36 M3.
Was the car toast?
It was pretty toasty, yeah. I think it still was able to be pseudo fixed and driven and sold, I think. But
that's why you want to get that RSR car, get that insurance,
all of that cheapest car, all of the insurance, and multiple laps, and it's gonna be the greatest day ever.
My friend, speaking of insurance, my friend just did, and I don't want to use his name in case anyone's listening that shouldn't be. My friend has a GT3 RS, a brand new one, 992 or 991.2 GT3 RS. It's a beautiful car. Just did a track day locally here. Not his first track day, but his first, since he has moved to California, is his first track day here, and it's also his first track day in that car. And he, it's a very expensive car, and he wanted to get the insurance. And the insurance for one track day was $2,000 premium with a 10% value deductible. So if you totaled it, it's $2,000 for the premium plus 10%, $25,000 for 10% of the car.
Whoa, that's nutty.
That sucks.
Yeah. Now it was fine. He did not have a crash, and he had a great track day.
And it's still better than losing 250, of course.
Of course, but goddamn, that's an
Yeah,
expensive insurance premium.
Yeah.
This is why even rich people race cheap cars.
Yep, 100%.
Cheap cars are great. I mean, cheap cars, put the foot down, keep it down.
Yeah.
balance the dynamics. I don't know.
We
I
do
think
AER. There's people out there that roll up in Prevost marathons to race a fucking E36. You know what I mean?
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Because at a certain point, for them, it's about the racing, not the driving. Which, if you know what I mean, like if you buy a brand new GT3 that you love, it would be great to track it because you invest all this money to have that experience all the time.
Yeah,
you've chosen that car out of all the others.
Right.
But so then to go, I can't drive it on the track. That kind of sucks.
Yeah, no, I agree. And a GT3 RS, I was just in it. We went to dinner, and it wasn't fun.
It's not a commuter. No, it's not.
Especially compared to the regular. Have you been in a GT3?
So I've a couple friends have them, and I've driven a bunch. Not the new one, not the 2.2. The first one I actually did a video of. My buddy's has a Golf liveried one, and it is absolutely. That engine,
pretty delightful.
That engine in any car would be my favorite car.
Yeah, the .2 is incrementally better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
I haven't driven one yet.
It's slightly better. It's it's a fucking 4-liter, which is 4.0 is the number, and it's got that kind of bassy, beautiful kind of thing. The new GT3 is the most well-rounded sports car that there is.
Right.
But the RS really cranks up the stiffness and the fucking the floor.
Even the seats. I mean, I'm a pretty big dude.
Yeah,
the seats are like I love tough. The seats, but it's you kind of like put yourself.
Well, I drove
in it
when we were filming Drive in Le Mans. I took Spinelli's GT3 RS to go get gas for it.
Yeah,
because he's the boss. No, he's not. And French roads, perfect tarmac, blah blah blah. On the highway, it's smooth, but the second I had to slow down and go into a very low driveway that they have there, very shallow, to get gas, it was like stiff. It's difficult.
Very
it's wide.
stiff.
It's not commuting in that car or daily driving it in any way. It just wouldn't be comfortable.
And around LA,
oh god,
that'd be a nightmare.
It's brutal. That's why I have an off-road Porsche.
Yeah, you would be breaking a GT3 RS apart in this town.
Yes, but
For sure.
but the regular GT3 is the fucking shit.
Yeah, my friend has one of those, and he just got. I get to drive it when I get back. A GT2.
Oh yeah.
Have you driven one?
I haven't. My friend Spike owns one, and he owns it with his two friends. They own it. They all own it together. And when they get past the break-in miles, they said, I can have a go in it, because I took out their GT3 Touring, and I wrung the fucking neck out of it, and it had like 700 miles on it, and they're like, maybe we should wait until the GT2 has like 1,500 miles on it before we do that again, because I was bragging. I was all like, it's got 700 miles, $9 grand, $9 grand, $9 grand.
That engine. I mean, you have
to go to 9.
I mean, you can't stop. I mean, I think it's impossible.
You can't shift at 8. It goes to 9.
That's right.
It fucking got long legs. It's got really long legs.
Yeah.
You know what? Have you been in a Lexus GSF?
You were talking about that on another podcast, and I have not.
If you can get in one, you should. But it's weird because it's got an 8-speed gearbox, right?
Yeah. Is it the ZF?
No, Toyota uses the Aisin. Is it Aisin or AISIN? Which they may own a substantial portion of. It's not a ZF.
One of those.
But so it's 8 gears, but second goes to 72 and third goes to 106. So in any canyon in Los Angeles, you're really in second and third.
Yeah.
With 8 gear. And it's like...
Does it sound nice the whole time?
Awesome. You have to be above $4,000, and you have to be, more than 50% through. I think, you know what I mean? Get that really good intake.
Induction
good
noise.
body
They've always been
control?
good at that.
Very good.
Really?
The GSF is fucking great.
Huh.
It's so nice. It turns in really sharp. It's got great grip. No adjustable suspension. Just perfectly...
Just good dampening.
Is that
good
the factory
damping.
ride height?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good dampening. Remember the Polestar Volvo?
With Öhlins?
With Öhlins. So I just filmed the launch of that, and they have Öhlins again, and it's the same. A lot of journalists have the same comment. They're like, you just know what the suspension's going to do. It's not adaptive. It's always the same, and it's really good.
And it doesn't need a comfort sport mode. It's just you set it up once right, and it's well-rounded for everything.
Every car I've ever driven with comfort, sport, and all I don't know, I feel like it's just... none of them are exactly right. You want some comfort and mostly sport.
Most of the shit we drive that's adaptive, sport is too stiff and comfort is too loose.
Right.
And you kind of wish there was something like...
Or for Mercedes AMG cases, usually everything's too stiff.
Except comfort, which is sloppy. Comfort, the body moves around a lot. And then you put it in sport, and it's too fucking stiff.
Because it can't change the spring rate, so it's all shock dampening, which is a hard thing to kind of figure out.
Yeah. The magnetic ride stuff tends to be a little better. The GM stuff is a bit better with that, but like just the really well valved fucking shock doesn't need to be reset very often.
I agree.
I think Lexus worked with Bilstein on this one. I'm pretty sure these are Bilsteins. Anyway, what's your story, Tim? We haven't met before today. Yeah,
I know, right?
You came out of nowhere. You're doing videos. I watched a couple of them this morning. I like your Lotus. It's very cool.
Thank you.
I mean, someone who fucking throws 1552s on a spree, I'm about.
They were super cool about that because the car that ran at Le Mans actually had.
Pull that up. Look at that. That's his Esprit. That's fucking rad looking. I
Actually
saw the car before. I never heard of you.
Similar style wheels, and I wanted tarmacs because I think tarmacs are just like every car on tarmacs. Pretty much.
Those look really nice.
But they made those back ones are actually forged concave. They actually made the file for that car.
That looks real good.
And I think
there's a huge market for that. That was really worthwhile.
But I could see if that fits other things, a market for like the same, style of wheel, but with that little concave, so it shows the size of the wheel.
Cars that have a stagger, it kind of, it works. But
the alternative was what, a lip, right? A 3-piece with a lip,
which is what I did on my previous Esprit, and I hated it because it just looked a little too VIP, not quite performance. So, yeah, I mean that car is, that was kind of always my dream car. I've always been in the automotive industry in some way, shape, or form. About 20-something years ago, I started. When I was 18, I had a meeting with my mom. Set me up with like a financial advisor, and he's like, "Well, tell me what you want to do." And I'm like, "I want to buy and sell like cars." I was kind of like blue chip, but not. You know what I'm saying? Like, cars.
Yeah.
And he's like, "That's the worst idea. You should never do that." So he gave me. So I got some mutual funds.
So no car dealership should ever exist.
Right. He was real short-sighted. He's real short-sighted and very conservative. So about 5 years after that, I just started my own car dealership. And it worked pretty well.
Brick and mortar? Or just
it was
out of your
brick and
house?
mortar, and it was early days. This is like 2000, so this is like early eBay, imported like 109 Land Rovers, Mini Coopers, and sold those.
Classics.
So kind of like classics, some like Audi S4s, and just interesting, I don't know, stuff like I wanted to drive.
Yeah.
E36s, that kind of thing. And so did that for a while, and the problem with that is I really love cars, and so it was really painful to sell any of them. So, like the better the deal was, the worse it was. Like
that's so funny. I completely understand this.
And then after, I did that for a while, and at the same time, my degree is in broadcast engineering and vocal performance. So I'd produced records and did voiceover work for like McGraw-Hill, educational stuff, video games, that sort of thing. And
you have
so
an agent, a voiceover agent?
I never took it to that level because work always kind of reined in pretty steadily.
That's nice.
So so I did that fairly consistently through the mid 2000s, and then started a company that made gauges for cars that did really well. Sold that about 3 years ago, and kind of just was at that kind of crossroads of like, well, what do I want to do now? Yeah. I had acquired over that the cars that I didn't sell were like the cars that I festooned all these ridiculous cars. So I have multiple right-hand drive minis and, like an M Coupe and just like, I don't know, like cars that you kind of, like smoking tire cars.
Yeah.
So
enthusiast
automobiles. And so,
in Ohio, you can have a fucking barn.
You can. I bought an 1800s, late 1800s barn.
Is it
Really?
that red? Is it that red barn in that picture?
Yeah,
it's like literally.
That you can fit about 9 or 10 cars in there.
Oh, see, that's
and then the upstairs is like a studio.
We just don't have that shit here. Do you live in there?
You could. It's about 1,500 square feet. And the cool thing is the lift comes up into the upstairs, so you got whatever your favorite car is.
You could have a car. Oh, it comes through the floor.
Is your house? Is this on your house?
It's in front of. It's like the lot next to my house.
Oh.
So
but it was already there, and
it was since 1878. Kind of nuts. So
that's so awesome.
Yeah. So I just really about 3 years ago was like, well, what do I want to do? And I really just kind of wanted to. I always wanted to be like a motoring journalist, like Chris Harris, and the Evo. Like before it was even Evo, it was a performance car, which I was a freaking. Oh man, I was on their nuts, dude. I was performance car was my jam. So yeah, So I kind of. That's what I'm attempting to do now is to make Tim's Enthusiast Garage. I've got some products that I sell based around the videos that I do, and and I went to Goodwood. That was see that back there.
So now you're just traveling around filming fun cars and doing your shit.
And the Lotus kind of hit a chord because like that video has some views.
It was like 135K. I thought.
Yeah, and everyone seems to know. Like when I go to a thing, they're like, "Oh, you're the Lotus guy."
Well, it's the only Lotus I've ever seen on fucking tarmacs.
Yeah.
So I mean, the modifying a car that is not typically modified and that you don't see around a lot is a cool thing to do.
It's it's on poly bushes and it's on coilovers that are like kind of custom made, custom valved. They're not quite. I drove a buddy's Esprit yesterday. His is better. He has the last edition, the final edition car.
What is yours? Like a 2000 or something?
Mine's a 98.
Okay.
97 was like the first year of the V8 in the States. 96 in Europe, and so yeah, we're still working on. They're like fully adjustable. So I'm hoping to get some more track time this coming year and really work on the suspension.
Well, you know what Colin Chapman said. If you make the suspension adjustable, they will adjust it wrong.
Yeah, I told this guy yesterday. I'm like, email me your specs because I need those specs.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, because I think really that's kind of the car isn't quite dialed in. There's a little too much camber in the back.
I've driven a couple of Esprits and I really like the idea of them, and then they drive a little weird.
They're really, really not structurally rigid. So it's definitely. I had for years I've had a 996 that was actually a pretty nice, like a nice 996. So it had LSD, sport, like every sport options, hardback chairs. And that car is pretty great, and it is completely opposite of the Lotus. Like the Lotus, you can feel when you wash it, you can hear it creaking because the water has lubricated everything. It's pretty crazy, but it is it is very intuitive. Like you probably spent a lot of time in like an Elise.
I have,
which is like probably the best version of Lotusness that they've ever really done.
My favorite Lotus is the Evora 400. Actually, or the 410.
So I've driven the S. I haven't driven the 400, and I've heard that that's pretty nutty.
It's really great. I mean, nutty isn't the word I would use. I think it's beautifully balanced and it's fast enough to have a good time in. I took it to a few different track days, and I was running with 997 GT3s.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's awesome.
It's got great power, very linear. It does exactly what you tell it to do. And is that me? That looks like me.
Did it sound?
That is
100%
me.
How's it sound?
Great.
Does it?
It has a titanium exhaust, optional, and it's got a valve in it, so you can make it pretty quiet. Although even in quiet mode, it's still not quiet enough for Laguna Seca, which was disappointing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
What's the threshold there now?
It's low. It's 96. Oh, it's fucking low, and it was. I got measured at 103. Because
in quiet mode?
Yeah, because in quiet mode, if you go flat,
it opens.
It opens at 5,000 RPM regardless. And so,
look at that.
Yeah, it's a great photograph. And so what you have to do, unfortunately, at Laguna with that car is lift or go either lift in turn 5, which is where the sound meter is, or go in 4th instead of 3rd. The problem is the peak torque is pretty high. If you go through 4th, you really fucking dog it up the hill. And it was, I think, 3 seconds a lap.
It's a really long hill.
It's a really big hill, and it's steeper than you think.
And it sets you up for the left, which is another
for
hill
an even longer hill.
Like you're losing tons of speed.
Yeah, so it was 3 seconds in 4th versus 3rd there. But nevertheless, that's a fault of the track, not the car. The car is great. So that's, if you wanted to buy a new Lotus, that's the one I would go for. And it was really really good on tires too.
Look how neutral it is. It looks so neutral.
Does everything.
All these pictures look so
neutral,
stable.
balanced, and you can slam curbs with it. Look at the flat.
Wow,
pull that over. I put it up on a lift at Sharkworks. Totally flat under tray. Very and actually Sharkworks were pointing out a few things under there about the construction of the car. It's actually an incredibly rigid chassis and really, really well constructed.
It looks like all aluminum
it is.
under tray, not plastic, which is good.
Totally. It's a very
It's
a very, very well-made car, which is not something you
Lotus
normally
as
hear
a
about
company,
Lotus.
they kind of make me sad because it's like I've always said, it's like they can make the cars, they just don't have a good PR department, or I don't know what the deal
Their
is.
PR people are very nice. They just don't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And the one thing that they don't have that really drives me nuts is they don't have good financing. Like they don't have a
so
bank
sad.
or anything like that. You know, like there's no Lotus credit. So you have to kind of get your own financing in order, which is tough for a lot of people who could want to get, the newest 911 for $1,200 a month or whatever it is, and you can't really do that with a Lotus because the terms are never going to be as good.
That's a bummer. I thought the construction of that was really nice. It was it was pretty. It was one of those things you open the hood or the back hatch and you're like, that looks cool and this looks cool and this, and then it's Japanese engine, so it'll work for a long, long time.
Yeah, you've driven, I imagine, an original NSX at least once or twice.
Yeah, I had an original NSX, liked it.
This is the new version of that formula. It's that formula with today's amount of steering response and power and shit like that.
The Evora S was too. The one that I drove was too soft.
This is better. Yeah. The 400 and the 410 have different shock settings, but you don't have to fucking change them. They're good. They're ready to go.
It's just good.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man.
So what else was in your fleet of fun shit?
The fun shit fleet is pretty deep, I guess.
Is it? How many is it? What's it at now?
It's like 20.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
You're gonna need
I have some
barn
unfun.
soon.
I mean, I have I have that Maserati Quattroporte, which
is that cool?
I like it.
You like it?
It sounds really good. It's a ZF car, so
okay.
It's not
as bad as it could
the
be.
Duo Select. I bought it because I thought it would be a great daily. It's not a great daily,
but it's a great investment though.
It sounds good. No, it's not a great investment. Although I did pay. When I bought it, it had 44,000 miles on it. I paid 12,000.
Yeah,
so
it's a good investment for you.
They were asking 25. I was like, I'm gonna give you 10. And they're like, no, don't call me again. Then the next day, so
they called back.
What about 15? No, how about 12? Okay, come get it.
Man, that hurts.
for 12.
Yeah, it's a great.
How low could it go?
Yeah, right. That's what I think that's got to be it is it
might go down to 8, but even so, that's just $4,000.
Right. And if you think about other cars that have the AMG cars from that era use that transmission, they all have 120,000 miles in that price range, or 140,000 miles.
True.
So, and it is basically that engine is pretty stout. I mean,
the engine itself. It's the electronics I'd worry about.
The electronics are hilarious on that car. It has. So since I've gotten it, I don't know. I have a Grand Sport, which has been a great car. I don't know if you've ever. Some people, it's a love-hate thing. I love the 4200 Grand Sport the last 2 years. I like it. I know it's
with the F1 gearbox.
I know you hate the F1 gearbox.
I do not like those,
and that's okay.
I know the Grand Sport's better than the.
It's like the best bad.
Other one.
It's the best bad.
Yeah,
it's the best bad. But
they're not my favorite. Again, if it was $12,000,
it was not.
I really like the way these sound. And they look awesome from the front, and in the back they look like a Prelude to me.
Yeah, now you just ruined it for me.
So
my Grand Sport is now for sale. Yeah, thanks. No, but the Grand Sport has been a paragon of reliability. I mean, if you can believe that. I've had it for 5 years. I've done multiple oil changes, flushed the F1 system, like the hydraulic thing. I've had 0 issues with that car.
I can't believe it. I'm shocked.
No, so the Quattroporte, however, is hilarious. You'll get in it sometimes, and the tack, there's noise on the CAN bus or something, so the tack won't quite work, and then it will, and then you'll get some error message, but it always drives great. Because I think that the Italians, there's a checkbox, is it good looking? Yes. Does it sound good? Yes. Okay, release it.
And then you just walk away.
You know what I mean? Yeah, release it.
Pretty much.
And yeah, that car is. But so I have that, and then I have an M Coupe that's all TC Klein prepped. It's got a cage and suspension and
a clown shoe one or a newer
clown
one?
shoe Z3.
Z3 one.
Yeah, and
cool.
it's not what's the S54 is the one everyone wants. It's a S52,
it's a 52.
so it's the early. It has some mods on it, so it's got an M50 intake manifold.
Oh, is that it right there? Good blue. Good quality blue.
Estoril.
Are those the Z4 wheels?
Those are like a set of track wheels that I have, and I'm not even sure what the manufacturer is. But
they look nice.
Kidney grill color is interesting.
That is, it's taped off because I was buffing it in that picture. But yeah,
it's like neon. It's like mint ice cream green for everybody who's listening.
Got the ice cream kidneys.
Yeah, so that car
like ice cream if you bought it at a gas station though, not from like a real place that's made out of milk. Sorry, like that color is too green.
It does not go with the Estoril. So I got that. I got a 500 SL M119 R129. That's great.
I like mine. Mine is a SL 500.
So you have the later. Is it still M119 or
it's the later one?
Later.
It's a single cam.
Yeah.
But I fucking everyone's like, yeah, you got the wrong engine. Yeah, you should have. And I go, you know what? It never revs over 2,500. It's my fucking traffic car. It's literally for sitting in traffic. Yeah. It makes absolutely no difference.
I'm with you. I just told someone that they needed to get the original engine, the M119, and then I've got an S500 as like a daily driver that has the new one. It's a great engine. Like, I don't know why. You know what I mean? Like, there's really not any difference other than like mechanical complication. And,
service cost is the difference.
Right, I know.
And if you happen to be fucking over $4,000, maybe it matters. But like, stupid slush box SL, what's the difference?
It's good wisdom. It's good wisdom.
That car sees a quarter throttle. I have to intentionally, like once every couple of weeks, I'd be like, okay, I need to find some room and take this thing to redline because otherwise it just doesn't ever.
It has long gears and stuff.
It's got long gear. Yeah, it's got long gears and it never fucking revs. So you just have to be like manually shifting through the jigsaw fucking thing.
I'm in a like a Mercedes. I love Mercedes lately. I like. I've got a 190 2316.
Really?
Which I love. It is.
Is it a dog leg?
It's a dog leg. It's like I think it's E30 M3s, which I also love but do not own, have gone up in value to the point where it's like I don't get it.
Oh, you got 1552s on that one too.
Yeah. I love
that works.
It's cool. It's a cool car.
And in Jewish Racing Gold, no less.
It's pretty fantastic.
I think Kamisa has the same car, right?
He does.
He actually.
He has my. I have the same Scirocco as him. It's pretty freaking weird. Like,
does yours work properly? Because his does not.
No, in fact, I'd actually really like to talk to him because
he seems to adjust his valves weekly. I mean,
I'm about to swap out. I'm about to swap out either the engine or the fuel system or the whole car because
I'll tell you what, this is worth it when the upside is a Scirocco.
Yeah, swap the car.
Imagine having to deal with all this bullshit and the upside is like 130 horsepower. Fucking waste of time.
Yeah,
my Lambo seems to be kind of a pain in the dick, but the upside is 450 horsepower through a fucking straight pipe. Like, okay, we'll deal with that.
Lamborghini,
and I get to say my Lambo.
Right.
The Countach is.
Why did you get
fantastic.
a Scirocco?
Well, it was my second car.
Okay.
That I ever had was that exact car. Like, it was that color. And it was, one of those things where the memory is a lot.
Oh yeah,
a lot better than the reality. So I have it. I don't know. It sits there. It looks nice. I spent a ton of money getting like the body work and all the Euro parts that I couldn't afford when I was like 20, like put on it.
I understand.
Mistakes were made.
I've been there.
So I've got that.
I'm not going to revisit the Volkswagen chapter of my life. I had a 97 GLX. I don't need, why?
What's a GLX?
Sorry, Jetta VR6 GLX. It's like the nice.
Was that higher than a GLI?
Yeah, because it had sunroof, leather, all that stuff. VR6 was the important part, but still, back to the point of like
12-valve VR6s are like that is where a significant portion. One of the things that I try to preach through Tim's Enthusiast Garage is like, don't buy cars that you spend $40,000 a year maintaining that are worth like $5,000. So unfortunately, I have that Scirocco.
Lesson.
Yeah, I mean it's a really good lesson. That's how you get a Lotus Esprit or a Countach or whatever it is that you really want. You don't own a GLX VR6.
Right.
I'm sorry. I mean, that's a cool car, and like I had one back in the day.
I mean,
it's for those guys. It's fun. They make a great
I knew a guy
noise.
who was trying to sell a $40,000 Corrado. So like, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I drove it. I was like, this is nice. How much do you want for this again? No.
You will immediately spend another $40,000.
Yeah.
Just like heater core.
Yeah, there's no Corrado on the planet that doesn't need $10,000 of something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's like E36 or E46 M3s.
Yep.
They all need $10,000 of something.
Yes.
When Armin bought his, which one of our shooter friends bought an E46 Laguna Seca blue, really
Great
well
color.
maintained,
Great
amazing color. Smart mods. It had coilovers on it and CSL wheels. and he bought it for in the 20s. You know, I mean, he got a good deal, but it's still expensive for a car that's used. And I think it had like 100 on the clock, but it looked very new.
Manual or SMG?
Oh, manual, sure.
I figured.
And so he spent 10 more than I spent when I bought my car, and mine had fewer miles. I'm like, oh, well, yours is perfect. Like the paint's perfect and the interior's perfect. And I was like, I mean, nothing's wrong with it, right? And he goes, well,
right.
It still has BMW isms. You know, it still has this thing's falling off and this is wiggling loose, and occasionally that light comes on. Like they all need something, unless they come from what's that company, Enthusiast Auto Group, or you know they've been gone through, and then they handed the keys to you.
Yeah,
you know, before you drive out the driveway, no check engine light.
Speaking of EAG, you know EAG, right?
Yeah,
they're in Ohio, aren't they? By
down
you,
in Cincinnati.
Yeah. So Eric from EAG, who's been on the show, and he was a great guest. I like Eric a lot.
That's a cool shop.
People shit on him for selling expensive cars, but he sells nice fucking cars. It is what it is.
Find the
right?
other 10,000 miles.
Well, he sent me this on Friday, and he's launching it today. So I hope I don't blow up his spot. I hope this hasn't happened yet. Probably only for the live people. But they are selling the Instant EAG Collection, which is 13 cars sold as a package.
What?
Targeting the bored Porsche collector, and here they are. The Instant EAG BMW Collection, all Tier 1. It's an M1.
Love it.
An M6, 80s M6, an E28 M5, an E30 M3 Evo, an E36 lightweight, a Z1, an S54 clown shoe, an E39 M5, Z8, E46, E46 competition, Z4M, 1M, and E92 M3 Lime Rock.
Wow.
All of those as a package. 2.3 million delivered to your door.
I love him for trying, man. I mean, I think that's fantastic.
So if you divide 2.3 million
how
by
much
13,
of that money is from the M1? Hopefully a lot of it.
Probably 500 grand, right?
Okay.
500 to 600.
The Z8s, man. What Z8s are?
They've softened a little bit, I think, but they're still fucking expensive.
I don't.
Divided by 13 is an average of 176,000 per car. That's a high number.
You know, the M3 Evo also kind of, that's an interesting, and we never got those in the States. The Evo edition.
I mean, I think 2/3 of those cars I would like to own if I had mega money and mega collection.
Right.
A couple of them I don't like. Lime Rock, not really a huge fan of it.
Yeah, I'd be like, you knock the Lime Rock fucking off.
I never liked the clown shoe or the 4 after that, but I kind of get it. But what's weird, I don't know, man. That's like, it reminds me of like a Karate Kid type movie, or like one of those feel good, funny buddy movies where like the poor kids are into this thing, and then their friend who wants to tag along shows up, and he bought all the gear. You know,
Richie, it's like Richie Rich.
Yeah, it's little Richie Rich. Like, hey guys, I like cars too. Look at all these, you know. And I feel like a lot of those cars are redundant. Like they're all good drivers' cars, but you know, half are old, half are new. Yeah,
like you don't need the M6 and the M5.
Right. You're getting a lot of similar flavors.
Although shit, you know who I just ran into? Do you know who Ryan Finney is? He's an IndyCar driver.
Okay, I don't know him, but
you probably heard of his name, right? Whatever. He's an IndyCar driver, and you know, apparently a successful one. I don't follow IndyCar, but I think he's got a pretty good race record. You know, his family owns Baja Cantina, which I didn't know that. It's Phinney. If you were trying to look up his last name, which is why you might not find him if you just Googling shit. But he's you know, super into cars and whatever. He just bought an old M6. I don't know the E number of the 80s M's. Do you know, Tim? Do you know the 80s the E number of the
E24?
E24 probably, maybe. Yeah. He bought one with no motor in it. He got like a good price. I don't think that's him. And he put a S62 V8 in it from the E39 M5,
which is an awesome engine. And it seems it's not quite done yet, but it seems like that's going to be. That seems like a great
project.
idea.
He's coming on the show in 2 weeks, I believe.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, is that you got his race record there?
I got his Indy record.
Phinnny. Does he have any wins?
That's funny. The Panos site had it spelled incorrectly.
What does he got? Rolex Sports Car GT. I look right. Is that right?
89?
Yeah, it
Age
could
seems
be.
right.
He's also importing Royal Enfield motorcycles. Have you seen those things?
No.
Nice.
He's
like
gonna be
vintage ones?
No, like new ones.
New ones.
Did you know those are made in India? Do you know Royal Enfield is an Indian company?
Like
I've never heard of it.
Recently, right?
Yeah, they were bought by Tata, and they're
Yeah.
made in India. They basically look like Triumphs, but they're like half the price.
Huh.
Apparently, they ride good too. Yeah, those. I think that's like a
I'm
vintage.
feeling the spec. That's
like
awesome.
a vintage look, kind of military look one. But they have more like normal like streety ones too.
Classic Desert Storm.
I don't
Classic
know.
Chrome.
He's coming on the show next week though. Yeah, kind of like that. He rode up to Bill's in one. It was pretty fucking.
Yeah, they
cool.
are. They look like those really classic Triumphs from like, wow, almost like the 40s.
Yeah, some
Right?
of them are a little newer, cafe racer-ish, sort of like Triumph Bonnevilles. Yeah, like that one. Whatever the fuck that
This
is.
is called the Bullet 500 EFI.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah, no.
They're like
no
$7,500.
Oh, that's
They're
cool.
brand new.
All right.
They
Wow.
look like bikes that are like 15 to 20 grand, but they're like $7,500. Apparently, they're pretty nice too.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and he's building this custom bike that he doesn't have a name for yet. He's gonna do a limited run of 10, and he's using for the body work on the bike leftover carbon fiber from his Indy cars, like the carbon fiber side pods. They have like extra ones, and they like can cut them in certain ways that they're making like body work for the bike.
That's pretty rad.
Off his
Yeah,
off like
super rad.
Delara Indy cars. Like, pretty fucking cool, right?
That's cool.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty righteous.
Anyway, but
Nice.
I forgot how we got on that. The V8 and the M6. That's how. But so anyway,
That's a good call.
If you're interested in 13 BMWs at once, you can hit up Eric at EAG. He's got you covered. Don't worry.
They have strong cars. I mean, I don't even know how they find some of that stuff. Like it's that strong. I mean,
Yeah.
if you're into BMWs, they're definitely.
They seem to be selling the best ones. They
Yeah.
find the best ones, or
It's-
they find them early and then refurb them until they are top spec.
It's pretty amazing.
Yeah.
'Cause some of the E30s, it seems like most of the E30 M3s that are for sale have like 100,000 miles.
I've seen ones with 200.
Yeah,
I've seen a
except
ton
for
of
the
miles
cars
on
that
those.
they have, which are like, I don't even know. They must just when 993s started going through the roof, there were like a lot of different people started kind of doing that, like scouring for
Right.
the last low miles cars and then getting a premium for them, which I think that's great.
Especially if you own a shop where you know where to source original parts from. Like you
For
could buy
sure.
one that's a 7/10 car and then make it a 10/10 car
sure.
easier than you or I could.
Which they do a great job of. I mean, the cars that they have, is legit. I mean,
He drove up here for the show in a fucking 850 CSI manual that had like 45,000 miles on it. It was rad.
Oh my god, I've
It
had
was
some
really,
bad.
really cool.
The BMWs from that era is pretty much the source of most of the heartbreak in my life.
Yeah, I didn't
Like
want one, but I was really happy
E24s and
to
like
see
all
it.
this. They're the most like. I just have had horrible luck with all of those cars, so I kind of steer away from that.
I don't want it, but I think look at that top right picture.
Oh, it's
the white one.
fantastic. I mean, it's
That looked like the one that he drove up in.
Great shape.
850.
Really good shape.
Yeah, it was fucking dope.
Till the lights are up, but
It was, yeah.
I even
No,
like
it's
them
not
with
good
the
fun.
lights up.
Are you a pop
I'm a
up guy?
pop up. I mean,
You know?
80s kids, so it's like kind of a.
I think pop ups are not good.
me too.
I mean, aerodynamically,
Aerodynamically,
They're
I don't
definitely
think, but
not
I don't think
good.
they look good. I think it's like look how good the shape of this. That's a shit picture. The shape of this car is, you know, it's sleek. It's low. It's a little. It's the traditional short deck, long
For
hood.
sure.
And then you pop these headlights up in the middle, and it's like you just rested two mailboxes that you're
I mean,
on the
I'm
way to
with
the
you.
trunk, and you got to leave them there for a second, and you're like, oh, this is great. I don't understand. People are like, they're so cool. Like, they're not cool. It's another thing to break.
Yeah.
They reduce, on a Miata, they reduce my top speed by like 8 miles per hour, which is a huge
and the
percentage.
wind buffeting with the top down with the lights up is pretty
in my
crazy.
C5,
Super
they
shit.
were a disaster. I took them off and I put the froggy lights on.
Yeah, which are cool.
Which, you know what? Some people didn't like them, but honestly, the functionality was there. They were brighter and they didn't fuck the aero all up at
Yeah.
night. So yeah,
I'm with
whatever.
you. I'm
Whatever.
with you.
Now, speaking of which, now I have a fucking giant fog light pod in the front of my 911. I haven't been over like 80 in it yet though. So
And that's not like, you're not going to drive that 600 miles on the highway like you do the vet up and down to Monterey and stuff.
I might.
No, you might. Maybe not. Well, whatever.
Nothing's
It's-
cooler. Nothing's cooler than that, though. I mean, if you've got
The 911,
the
there's nothing
headlight
cooler
pod,
than that.
no. I
that
mean,
fucking
like,
car is rad as hell.
there was
I got the Seinfeld approval at breakfast yesterday.
really.
Yeah, he showed up. He was like, "This." First off, he remembered my last name, which I was very excited about. He got out of his car. He goes, "Matt Farah." I was like, "Oh yes, you remembered who I am." And then all the three of them agreed collectively that this car is very me. And that's the only compliment I need. This
I mean,
is
it doesn't
me.
get any better than
Yeah,
that.
it's and god damn, is it fucking fun? That car is so.
How's
fun.
the power now compared to
Great.
before?
I mean, it's not much faster, but it's got the light flywheel and clutch makes a difference. It's got good response. Exhaust sounds really nice.
Cool. That's all you need.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, maybe it's 25 more horsepower than before, maybe. But
I
like,
thought you were doing like a 40 jump or something.
I don't know. I don't put on a fucking dyno. I have no idea. Plus, who knows how the off-road tires like change?
Oh, that's very
the
true.
power at the wheels. Like
How much taller are they?
Well, you can see in that picture, it's a 4-inch lift.
Yeah, okay.
So it's not like, it's not huge. But Lee says the suspension has 3 times as much travel as stock.
Well, like the
I was
circumference
aiming
of the
for
tire
potholes
versus,
yesterday.
Yeah, how was it?
Awesome.
Yeah, it's fine, right?
Dude, awesome. On the PCH, those potholes down in Santa Monica,
Yeah.
I was aiming for those. And it was just like the Raptor. You hit them on throttle and just right over it. It's so good.
You need to go
Do you know
off
what
the
the
curb.
spring rates are?
No.
I'm so intrigued.
You're gonna
by
have
this.
to ask Lee. I don't
Yeah.
fucking know.
It's freaking fantastic.
It's the right look. It's the right
Pictures
feel.
do not do
And
it justice.
like the handling is fine. Like I didn't, it's not for mobbing canyons, but like I went pretty quick up PCH yesterday, and like it'll take a corner. Like it's fine.
It's predictable. I mean, it's
got
still
a bit.
a driver's
It's got
car.
a little lean to it,
Yeah, it
but
does.
like fine. It's everything I like about 911s is right there.
Dude, that Camaro I drove leaned not as much as yours probably,
Yeah.
but one of those predictable, like it's going to lean every time 2 to 3 inches and then
Right.
set.
Yeah. Dude, and the brakes it's got new brakes. The brakes are really good. The steering's really sharp. Like the clutch feels nice. It's got the Wevo short shifter, which feels really good. Like all the things I like about 911s are there. It's just like all the things I like about Raptors are also there.
Seems like a really good car.
Yeah, it's so fucking fun.
It's
Zach and I are going to
fantastic.
go make the video after this show today.
Oh, cool. You got your gold key.
That's brass.
Rose
Pull
brass.
that over. I'll plug it. It's called Flat 6 Keys, I think it's called. Patrick Stevenson's new thing. He's making keys out of brass, stainless steel, and titanium. That one's brass.
Well, I guess because your key handle was plastic before.
My stock
Right.
key is kind of shitty.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a stock key, but like it's fairly shitty. It's plastic and fucking whatever. And the brass key is like sort of a luxury item.
Yeah,
Feels
totally.
nice. Got good weight to it.
But the car is also like a luxury item, so it's cool to
Yeah.
have the feel of
different-
the key matched kind of the feel of the
like
car.
this key is fucking janky as hell. The stock key. The back
it feels like my Civic.
Yeah, the Porsche crest like fell out of it sometime in the fucking 80s. Like it's just a janky fucking key. I'm excited. But no, Lee did like such a good job with that car. It's fucking so cool, dude.
Yeah, riding in his when we shot it years ago. I was
Yeah.
like, this is a good idea.
This is a fantastic
real
idea. And
good idea.
everyone loves them. I had a crowd around that thing yesterday. And whenever I drive it, it's like thumbs up and pictures. And it's just, it elicits happiness from people. That's good.
That's all you can ask for.
That's fucking good.
It's a great car.
Yeah, I can't wait to just drive it more. And I just sold the Focus, so like
cool.
This is my daily
you
driver
really?
now. Yeah, I did.
I liked the 1552 wheels on
Me
it.
too.
Yeah, was a
It
good
really
look.
improved the ride.
You went -1 on the. Yeah, I like
I
that.
went down to 18s, and they hooked it up real nice, and I was very happy about it. But ultimately, like you can change anything about a car almost, make it faster. You can change how, but in a modern car anyway, you're stuck with the seating position. If the seat can't be, you can't just pull the seats out of a 2016 car without throwing an airbag, light, all the shit. So, especially on a leased car, so like. It just hurt my back so bad. It hurt my back, my hips.
Really?
The seating position is all fucking wrong in that car. Because in order to move the seat down,
I like to be way on the ground.
me
in
too,
cars,
right?
yeah.
And in the 911, in fact, I only have a slider on the passenger seat. My seat is bolted to the floor because I wanted to sit as low
That's
as
what's
possible.
up.
So they measured it for me and just bolted my seat to the floor. So I sit fucking low. It's really great. And
Yeah,
the
that's the
seats
best.
are there's a little stagger on the seats. But in the Focus, as you lower the seat, like if this is the front where
Yeah.
your knees are hanging off, right? It doesn't lower like this. It lowers like this.
Yeah, most cars do that.
So,
Yeah, that's
so
a-
the lower it goes, the more it increases the angle of your knees, and it tightens the angle at your hips.
Yeah.
And if you happen to have a sensitive back, it's really painful to drive that that for more than a few minutes. So I honestly, like, I didn't notice it on the test drive, but the first time I drove the car for like an hour and a half, I was like, why do I need a massage right now? Like, why am I in some pain? So anyway, I found someone who wants it. The seat position doesn't bother them. They're 5'8", and he doesn't. He doesn't care. And so he's the check hath cleared. And
that's awesome.
It's going to go on a truck probably next week. So I'm not. I took it off the insurance, so I ain't driving it no more. I might have to do a little wrap up video or something. But I just did a video.
I like
with
the
it.
RS. I would prefer a Fiesta. I know that's crazy.
Well, that's you know who bought it is the guy who owns my old Fiesta.
Oh, really?
The current owner of my old Fiesta is the guy who bought that. So, okay. But the 911, sitting in it, it's so ergonomically correct. That even though the clutch is heavier.
Seats are amazing. What are those seats?
They're called RSR Classics, I think are the seats. I think that's what they're called, RSR Classics. Fucking all the guys yesterday, Seinfeld was like, who makes these seats?
Yeah, those are fantastic.
Wait, those are the seats you had when you got the car, right?
No, I had the car with stock seats in it.
Oh, because even those seats, I remember sitting and going, these are better.
They're fantastic.
60% of new
Did
market
it have
seats.
like stock sports seats?
It had the stock sports
seats from that era are great.
Sitting in a fucking box.
They're
that
really
leads up.
big, deep side bolsters. Yeah, those are great.
But these are like a vintage style bucket. In fact, you can see in that picture how much lower the driver's seat is than the passenger. See that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The headrest is like a good
The
2 inches
headrests are a
lower.
little different. But those are really comfortable, and they use a memory foam that breaks in, which is really nice. And so there's the stock seats. I still got them for sale. Somebody wants them in really good shape. Burgundy leather.
They're really comfortable. Very nice.
Yeah, I don't actually know if those are the sport seats.
Yeah, those don't look like the sports seats.
They look like the standard seats,
Sports
right?
seats from that era are pretty great. I mean,
have
those
the
seats
big,
are good.
the deep bolstering,
it's like,
right?
you have to be like a 34 waist, but you make it happen if you're my size. So.
Are you clear brawing a bunch of that car? Has it already been done so you can do dirt things?
I haven't done any clear bra yet. I am going to clear bra some of it. Yeah, I mean, you know me. I'm not going to do that much off roading because I don't like off roading that much.
You don't like the fast
It's
dirt
not that
driving,
I
though?
don't. It's not that
not rock crawling, like the stuff we do on all cars style off roading.
I do like it, but like
There's a lot of debris
I like it
out here.
I mean, I like it when it's like part of work or something. But on any given weekend, I'm not like, you know what I'm going to do right now? Drive fucking 2 hours out to the desert to drive more to drive. This happened with the Raptor too. Like if the opportunity comes up, yeah. But the idea, I'm not going to spend whole days doing that.
No, I think it would be, if I was in your shoes, because I understand. Like I went and offered that Wrangler, and I was like, okay, if I owned an off-road vehicle, how often would I drive out somewhere to slowly drive around and come back?
That's what I'm saying.
Not often.
Yeah.
But I think if you found other people in town that you're friends with or whatever that have cars like these, you guys could plan an A to Z trip, like Barstow to Vegas type. One of those things would be sick.
Well, the next 4 cars Lee is building are for California, so we're gonna plan that rally thing that he did with all the safari cars.
Yeah, but when will those be done?
Like a year.
Yeah, you should drive it on the dirt before that.
I'm gonna drive it in the dirt before that, but like I don't want anyone to be giving me any fucking shit about this. I built this car to drive in the city. This is a city 911. This is what that is. That's what it's for. I don't want to hear it.
No. I just remember how much fun you had with Lee's car.
I did have fun with Lee's car. Yeah,
you should go have fun.
I did.
That being said,
I should, but
Expel.
I had fun
when the opportunity presents itself.
When the opportunity presents itself, I'm gonna do a thing I think with Speed Hunters and Larry Chen, and we'll go out and play and get pictures and all that kind of stuff and have fun. But like,
ooh, you should find a street spot though that you like. I don't know, go off a curb or jump for the photo, because like if it's like an urban vehicle,
yeah,
that'd be cool.
Yeah, but ultimately, I wanted a 911 with ground clearance and good ride and all that shit to drive every day in the city. That's what this is. So I don't want to hear any fucking crap.
How's the clutch weight?
It's stock-ish. Feels stock. It's a lightweight flywheel and clutch, so it spins up nice, but it's not. And it has LSD in it. We put a Quaif in it.
Oh,
yeah.
Cool.
Should we hit up some super chat questions? I saw a few. What do we got going on there? Oh, wow. We got a bunch. Can you punch in on those? Because I can't read shit. If you want to ask me and Tim some things about cars, get in the super chat now for the last 30 minutes of the show.
Is it big enough or you need more font?
it's big enough. Oh, there we go. That sounds good. Let's see. Logan M says, I built a 65 Mustang with a swapped Fox Body 5-liter in it. I'm $12K in. Is that $1,000? And I don't know if I should sell it and make money or spend more money on it. And then he plugged his own Instagram for $5, bro. No thanks. Let's see. What do you think?
Does it work? Like, I mean, that's a lot. Like, that seems like a really good package because you have a reliable V8 in a classic Mustang.
Right.
You know, if it works, you can drive around. I would stop. I don't know.
If you've got a vision,
questions. Like, do you have an idea?
If you have a vision and it's a clear vision, finish it.
How far are you away from the goal? Did he set out to build like a road coursey pro touring thing, or is it just a reliable hot rod to drive around?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about a 65 Mustang is you can get one for $4,000, you can get one for $40,000, you can get one for $400,000.
Yeah.
So it's a highly specific, thing, and $12K in. So that means to make money, you got to sell it for 15, 16. Do people want to buy a 5-liter swapped 65 Mustang for $16,000? Well, if that's it, and he's got 12 into it, good for him. I mean, the color is fucking hideous. I mean, I don't know what he's thinking with that color, but that's not good.
Well, I mean, it's definitely a resto mod looking car. And if you did that for 12, you could probably sell it for more than 12. I mean, I'm assuming you've done a lot of work yourself.
Yeah.
So
if he's I mean, you could sell it, but like that seems like a highly personal thing that
it does.
A lot of people might not like that engine. I mean, it depends on.
It's not a great engine.
Yeah,
it's an okay engine, but it's not like the greatest.
If you're going for mega dollars.
There's a cap to it, right? You know,
right.
you 250 at the wheels, and then to get beyond that, it's superchargers or it's full on race motor.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I am gonna say if I was in his shoes, I'd sell it because I feel like that market for classic things is just slowly descending, and this is kind of a specific look with a not great engine, so the market's probably even smaller.
Resto mods are always so. I mean, go to Barrett Jackson. It's like
totally
hit and miss.
Yeah,
someone likes it or they don't.
Yeah,
and those cost a lot.
That color is going to dictate that more than anything else.
All right.
I mean, but we all get to that dilemma, right? Like with my Fox Body, it was like, all right, is it time to sell this, or do I have to put another $20,000 into this thing to make it what I really would excite me next?
Did you break out of that good? I saw you.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Well, I mean, it sold for $65,000 on Bring a Trailer, so half of the money for charity.
Right.
But I had about 30 of my own money into it, so yeah, I came out
good.
I was able to exit that car for the amount of money I had into it.
You can lose your.
Oh, I could have easily lost my ass on that thing.
Yeah.
And the charity gets some money, and the owner, the guy who bought it, is super, super stoked on it. He thinks it's cool as fuck, so whatever.
Yeah,
it's great.
That's the best case.
Yeah. Thank you. Word Dot says, there's a 91 964 on Bring a Trailer. Neat outlaw stuff done in California. Previous rust repair on Cal. 88,000 miles. It was an East Coast car. Owner won't smog it. May need a top-end rebuild. Walk or run away. I mean, rust repair on
on a California car. How's that?
Let's see if Zach can find the 964 on Branch Road. 964s can really go either way. It really depends on the car. I mean, owner won't smog.
Well, it was an East Coast car, so it's in California now.
I see.
Okay. So the owner, so it has no cats on it. Oh, is that it? 91. It's an outlaw style.
It does look outlaw
Rare
style.
2 coupe 5-speed.
6,000 miles.
Yeah, I mean the bidding's only at 25 G's.
How many days?
I wouldn't necessarily.
1 day.
I wouldn't necessarily say run. I mean, go down. I don't know about the chrome window trim on that thing. Pull that over so the audience can see it. There's a weird hodgepodge of shit in this car. So it's got the weird GT buckets which don't work in this car at all. But then it's got the stock wheels. And then it's got a rear seat delete, and then it's got chrome window trim.
They wanted a G body, but got a 964.
Yeah,
that's what happened.
This is a fucking weird car. I don't know about this. I would only buy I wouldn't run, but I'd only buy this if it was cheap because you got to fucking fix a bunch of stuff on this thing.
Yeah, If it needs a top end rebuild, that's a problem. And then I would
an
watch
engine rebuild on a 964 starts at $15,000.
Oh, the pedals are nice. I would watch Casilla's video when he found the rust on his car because he said this has rust repair done to it, but if it has, you need to make sure all the rust was found. Like figure out who did the rust repair, how in depth they looked. Because if it crept into because I think Larry's was on like the inner fender liner. It was like very hidden.
Yeah.
And then he took the fender off. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
As a Midwestern resident, let me just say, previous rust repair, I would, I don't know, man. You almost can, unless like a real pro welds in the right panels.
Right.
It's never going to be right.
So
and
this car's got some real funky shit going on with it. I mean, you're essentially buying someone else's vision, but you can't confirm that their vision was executed to the standard that you want. It also looks a little weird. What color is this? Can someone?
It's like a dark.
It's like a dark
asphalt.
red.
It's asphalt
it's gray.
Yeah. The interior seat delete is like red carpet with red piping around it.
I don't know if it's me. Only if it's cheap.
Yeah, I mean, if it's 30 grand.
Yeah. But it doesn't have it's this car is not a candidate for an investment car. It's got the wrong stuff to be an investment buy. So if you see that and go, "Yeah, I want to drive that," then if you can get it cheap, yeah, sure. I wouldn't say run. No, I would not say run. But I would say don't pay too much.
Yeah.
Cuz you're going to have to put money into that car. And in California, money into a Porsche is expensive.
Looks like it has stock suspension cuz the wheels are like inset from the fenders a little bit. Doesn't have like a nice wide stance.
Those wheels. Those stock 964 wheels are my least favorite wheels on any modern 911. Thank you, sir. What else we got, Zach? I'm sorry.
I love the honesty. The honesty's right. I mean,
do you think different? You were worse. No. You were more. You said.
Yeah. Well, rust repair. I mean, I'll be honest. I looked for a GTR for a long time before I found an R32. And those cars rust, I mean, if it's a car that rusts and it has previous rust repair, unless you really like spending money, that might not be the right call for you. I don't know. That's just me.
Yeah, there you go. Greg says, you gave me advice about driving the ring a few months ago. Yes, I said, don't do it in video games. Just go show up and drive. I took your advice and had an awesome time doing 5 laps in a Swift. All right.
Swift, good.
The Suzuki Swifts are rad. Those things are so slow and so fun.
This proves our point from earlier. Slower car.
Slower is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do not drive a GT3.
Yeah, you pay per lap. If you're driving a GT3, that lap goes by too fast and your money is less. Your money's less good. Your price value is better in a slower car.
Plus, if you crash it, your entire year is
or life
or life, depending on
Yeah. This one's for Zach. Mateo says, how hard is it to rent an Arctic truck in Iceland?
Easy if you have money. I mean, they rent a wide range of vehicles. You can get them with guides or without guides. You can take them for various amounts of time. So just go to their website. The website's really good, and it'll tell you what they do.
The Rob Ferretti and Adventure Drives is doing an Adventure Drives event in Iceland in the spring.
Cool.
So if you have some money, Adventure Drives it's not crazy expensive. It's basically the cost plus a bit of a fee to have someone else arrange it all for you. They are doing Adventure Drives in Iceland in the spring with rented Arctic trucks. So there's going to be a portion that's a road drive and then a portion that is Arctic trucks, drive yourself. But guided tours on the glaciers. Have you been to Iceland?
I haven't.
Strongly recommend.
Yeah, well, actually, one of the guys from RSR just went. Actually, didn't one of the guys from 1552 just went?
Yeah, yeah. Matt Crook was just there.
Matt just went. Yeah,
I think Sarah Trimble went with him, didn't she?
He did.
Yeah.
They both went.
It looked. I don't. I want to. It's my next thing.
It's very cool. My one thing to beware of for anyone who goes to Iceland, it is insanely expensive. Really? Everything is insanely expensive. Huh. Just basic food, a hamburger's $30. It's that.
Wait, for real?
Yes, for real.
Wow.
Iceland's super, super expensive. It's awesome. Huh. It's like, just be prepared. That's why I recommend going on someone else's dime if you can. But if you want a similar experience for a lot less money, South Island, New Zealand is a lot cheaper and incredible. Incredible.
And I would say better food because they have more climates to grow in. Truly.
Food is better, yeah. But Iceland is very unique and cool. Ryan says, Tim, great to see you on the podcast. would have enjoyed meeting you at Mid-Ohio. I guess you weren't there.
Passive aggressive.
Sorry, how passive aggressive?
Sorry.
He was lucky enough to do an RSR track day with Ron at Spa. Ron is good people. A lot of votes for RSR Nürburgring. Thanks, Ryan. Justin says, heading to North Lake Tahoe for a week. Any off-roading trails within a couple hours? Do you know any off-road trails up there, Zach?
I don't know any, but Google, like every trail I've found in the last ever is I just went to Google because I don't know. I don't off-road a lot. You don't off-road a lot. Seriously, BLM has a lot. Sorry, Bureau of Land Management. There's a lot of open national park land that is meant for off-roading and allowed for off-roading. I was surprised at the number of trails up near Bear Mountain. There was a ton, and what I would say is there's some really good sites that have photos and maps and everything. And if you off-road a lot, you can pay a membership for them. I think one's called like All Trails.
I just actually pulled up. I use All Trails.
All Trails is really
I didn't
good.
realize they had off-road trails. I use All Trails for hiking all the time. It's like a great app for finding hikes because that's what Hannah and I do.
Well, they literally have all the trails.
They have a bunch of off-road trails.
Yeah.
How about that?
So if you want to buy a subscription to something like that, because otherwise it takes a bit of digging to find some good information. And just make sure you find something that's in your ability range.
Dude, Justin, get the All Trails app. I just pulled it up, and there are a dozen off-roaded trails rated by stars and by how easy they are, and there's a bunch of info.
The comments on All Trails are also really important. It's like, this is washed out, or I went here and it was hard in my two-wheel drive rental car. But if I had gone in my lifted Jeep, which I own, like there's a lot of people that have some wisdom.
This is great, dude. And the All Trails app, I'm just looking through it. It has a logger, so you can record your trip. It's got waypoints on GPS. It shows your elevation. It says, all kinds of different information. Look, I can download.
I'm downloading the app right now.
Yeah, no, I don't. They don't pay us, but
they should.
They really should. I use it for hiking, and I'm going to use it for off-roading. That is a good tip. Sorry to just like refer you to someone else, Justin. We don't have the expertise for you, but I would totally get down with All Trails on that. Oh shit! Just got an email from shipment from Hodinkee is on the way. Yes, my new watch.
What'd you get?
The Orange Boy Octavia, the special edition one. Yeah. Do you have a Carrera? Is that what you got going on there?
This is an Omega Legend. Ooh. That's the Schumacher, the last one. It's a 3313 movement.
That's very nice.
I wasn't trying to wear I was trying to
That's nice.
What's the best watch?
It's a good piece.
I
like it.
That Matt would be intrigued by.
I like it very much.
I will hand it to you right now.
Let me see. Well, Nick says, what's up, Tim? Driving the... Oh, God, he's got a Yugo.
You know this man.
I know this guy.
He's driving the Yugo from New York City to New York City from Columbus this month. After that, should I K20 swap it or try to turn it into a boat?
This kid, he found this Yugo, whatever the good Yugo is, GT.
The good Yugo is a Volkswagen.
They made a whatever GTA, GT's whatever.
It's GTI. It's by Volkswagen. That's the good Yugo.
I'm with you, but he bought this in a field. It was in a field for 5 years. It has active mold growing on it, and he brought it to this. I do this show called Motor Vice, which is like an 80s, 90s themed show. He brought that thing and parked it in our like VIP. It was pretty sick. I mean, it's
by sick you mean like it has AIDS?
It's pretty awesome. Like it has active moss growing on it, and like it's pretty great, and it runs really nice.
He raised the bar of patina is what he did.
The patina bar is high.
He upstaged everyone who's like, I've got some rust and patina. He's like, oh yeah, active mold.
You should K20 swap it though, and that's
and get the fucking mold out of it. It's not good. I like this watch a lot.
Isn't that good?
Carbon fiber dial. I really like. And I like the skeletonized hands as well, and the applied indices.
And
very
check
cool.
this out. The pushers are pistons.
Oh, they
How
are.
cool
The
is that
pushers
with the
are
rings?
Pistons. Yeah, that's a nice piece. The Omega Speedmaster, the Legend, which is the Michael Schumacher watch. It's got his race victories written around the bezel. Very cool. Nice piece.
Man. Thanks.
I'm a fan. Max says, I'm seriously about to buy an S2000, but I'm a big boy, 6 foot and 280. I'm worried about thigh room. And no tilt wheel, smaller wheel buckets. All right, so
I had one. I fit. I'm not quite 280. Think.
I'm 6'2", and I was 280 at one point.
Yeah, I'm gonna just stop at 6'2".
Yeah, I could fit in the car, but my knees were really a problem, and so it's really going to depend on your knees. It's not going to be your waist or your gut or your head. It's going to be your knees, and so. I fucking just go sit in it.
Yeah,
I
drive one. If you rigid mount a seat like you did on yours, you can fit.
They have
easily
the tall man mods.
Yeah,
they're tall man mods for that.
Lotus does the same thing.
Yeah, I wouldn't take out the steering wheel because you've got an airbag there. If you can get around that, and I don't think the size of the steering wheel. I think it's a good size stock. So like to go with a smaller one, it would just change the steering feel in a negative way. But what were you gonna say about the seats?
I think rigid mount a seat low that fits you, and you won't have a problem. Also, buy an AP1. Don't buy an AP2. That's my 2 cents because
You prefer the older engine?
It revs to forever.
Yeah,
and it's a Honda. Neither one has torque. Everyone says the AP2 has torque. No, it doesn't.
It has more technically. Technically,
I mean,
it has
but
more.
No.
I agree with you.
You're not getting any torque. The AP1, I think, feels more special. It's more twitchy. The suspension,
but a lot of that was it was a suspension geometry under compression, right?
Yeah.
So if you put some aftermarket, like toe links or something on it, you can fix that.
Toe links. Yeah, I love the AP1. I like those cars. The lack of torque kind of always keeps me away from buying another one, but great car.
It's a well-made car.
Oh yeah,
and they are a lot of fun to drive
Absolutely.
and throw around. But they're getting old at this point.
Yeah, it is an old car, and I think there's so many other cars from that era that I don't know.
Yeah. Thank you, Max. Brosif says, what cars do you like but do not like the sound of to the point where you wouldn't drive one? And he brings up the 350Z as an example.
That was going to be my answer.
Yeah.
I stopped reading after the sound of, and I was like, I got mine.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Anything with a VQ is not a good place to start.
Aftermarket straight pipes on those is the worst nightmare.
I've driven a couple where if they go with a single exhaust, it's like a titanium single, it's a lot better.
It makes it deeper, I think.
Yeah.
But when they're
what really doesn't sound good?
Oh, you know what doesn't sound good? Is the Mustang EcoBoost.
Those don't sound very good.
Here's what it doesn't do is no matter so the 4-cylinder turbo you at 1,000 RPMs and 6,000 RPMs, it's just an appliance. It's all the time.
There's a guy
never
driving
like
around.
a rev. I don't know. It's just
There was a guy driving around an EcoBoost Mustang with a straight pipe on it recently.
Don't.
It sounded horrible.
Yeah, those do not sound fantastic.
Which is weird because like the Focus RS
sounds fantastic.
Really
I know.
nice.
That's why I was hesitant to even say that.
No, the Focus RS sounds good.
I don't know what they do with the Mustang. It's like so bad.
What else sounds terrible?
Everyone who straight pipes a V6 Challenger or Charger, those sound terrible.
Those sound really
and
bad.
There's a lot of them.
Or how about this? Any half-ton pickup truck with an automatic gearbox and like a Flowmaster on it. Like when automatic gearbox is like hunting gears with a loud exhaust on it, it's awful.
I think when I was a kid, I liked anything that had a V8, and trucks always had them and always had exhaust. So I still like it for no reason.
I like them if it's you got to be able to control the gears. When it's hunting the gears on its own, it's not good. Thanks, Brosif. Petrolhead says, I'm looking for a third car, utility vehicle for camping, Home Depot runs, etc. I have a $4,000 budget, and a manual gearbox is a plus.
Oh,
Jesus.
How much
Toyota,
can you get?
I have a weird suggestion here.
Yeah. Okay.
That you will hate.
Okay.
But I love 04 Land Rover Discovery. Is cheap.
They are cheap.
Is pretty reliable. The ABS module is going to lose a weld, and you're going to have the three amigos. However, the 04 came with diff lock. It is reasonably competent off-road as it is. They can fit 7 people. There you go. I don't know. It's a weird, and there's no manual option. So, but fun. I mean, it can do all the trail fun.
It can do that.
It is probably not going to grenade.
Other things are going to happen that are very bad. Like bad things will happen if you buy a Discovery. I don't know.
I have one.
Really?
I do.
Does it work?
It works great. Yeah. It has had head gaskets done.
Brian Scotto's got one. He's coming on the show on Wednesday, I think. We can discuss with him.
Yeah. See what I'm serious. The 4.6 BMW overcomplicated the 4.6. So the earlier. I'm sorry. I promised I wouldn't talk about this on
That's
here.
okay.
I'd go with a Cherokee because you can find it won't look good, but it'll probably work fine. 4-liter, $4,000.
Like an XJ?
Yeah.
Is that an XJ? That's what you call an XJ.
Yeah. One of those. So, I mean, your answer is more fun, but like this is $4,000.
Yeah, I mean,
you will not have any money left to fix it, which you probably
very
will.
far.
Really cheap.
I mean, can you buy a fucking straight up like OG Silverado or something like?
Probably a little bit
out here,
probably
maybe. Where's he live?
Something.
The problem with those in like where I live is they rust like completely.
Right.
Like the frame breaks. Like it's bad.
How much is a Forester? I'm, from like a 2001.
And you could get a manual.
Can you get an Outback, a manual Outback?
Yeah, totally.
Like a 2000.
Did they make a manual XT?
Yes,
that would be a good option.
They did make a manual XT.
They did.
Scrap the Discovery. Get the XT.
Yeah, XT might be more expensive, but it would work.
Yeah.
Make sure it has a head gasket done. Okay.
Or you could get a Lexus RX 300.
That's so true.
My mom swears by them. It's got 33-inch tires on it. Like,
oh, really? That's kind of cool.
Yeah. If you don't want
the Moonrover one,
not a manual. The first gen.
Yeah,
the first gen. Yeah.
They're super reliable.
Yeah, they'll run forever. Hang Zhang says, "Oh, thank you for being a good thing on your commute. I appreciate that." 996 twin turbo owner debating between a 997 GT2 or wait 2 years for a 991 GT3 manual. Which is the better as a rad daily and long-term value? First off, a 9971 GT2 is like a $200,000 car right now. They're really expensive.
And I don't see them dropping too much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The last one I saw sold for like over 200, is like more than a brand new GT3. Like a brand new GT3 is like 175 grand. And you can get them for a sticker right now.
Even 996 GT2s are still like kind of crazy.
GT2s are 120 grand.
Yeah. I mean, it's I don't know.
And so the GT2, the 997 is already a known collectible that is expensive as fuck. So I am not entirely sure. What did that say? GT2 RS. A GT2 RS for $430,000.
2011.
2011. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's off the list.
Yeah.
I mean, GT2s are fucking expensive.
And he also said rad daily. So if you daily a $400,000 car, you're either not going to, or you're just bringing the value down every time you drive it, right?
Yeah.
And it's risky.
I mean, if you really want a daily, get a 997 turbo manual.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Which is a great upgrade to a 996 twin turbo.
Yeah, I mean, if you like a 996 turbo, get a 997 turbo. It's still fucking Metzger manual. You could fucking throw 150 horsepower at that thing without worrying about reliability.
The interior is way better than the one he's got now.
For sure.
That's the way to go.
I think those GT2s are really expensive, and I think they're too expensive for daily. Thank you, sir. Dale says we need a Tommy F. Yeah podcast. Tommy has an open invite when he comes here. He lives in Connecticut. When he comes to LA, he can come on the podcast. Anthony says, I have a near mint 97 Miata with full suspension, a roll bar, and upgraded brakes. Do I trade it on a 16 BRZ plus cash and with that has mods, or do I turbocharge my Miata?
I don't think the BRZ will give you anything the Miata's not other than a roof.
Yeah.
I mean,
I would take a 97 Miata with suspension.
Is that an NB or an NA?
That's an NB.
NB.
That's an NB?
Maybe. I think 97?
Oh, wait.
It might be the last year
NA.
of the NA.
Yeah.
I had a 1.6 NA that I Gretty turbocharged that I absolutely
Did it work all the time?
It did work all the Well, I did no intercooler, like 4 pounds, 5 pounds of boost.
It's fine.
In-track suspension, and boy, was it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, the Miata's going to be more fun. And
BRZ, I did not enjoy
the BRZ. is not going to feel much
Maybe
faster.
I'm alone. Did
Plus,
you enjoy the BRZ?
Huh?
You enjoy the BRZ?
I like it.
I enjoy certain BRZs.
I like the look. I mean, it's a cool looking car, but
for me, I can't fit in an NA Miata for shit. So for me, if you're my size, I think the BRZ is a better, and if you got some money to throw a Rotrex on a BRZ, now we're talking. Because a Rotrex BRZ is like 285 at the wheels on pump gas, and that now you're in something that feels fast. You know what I mean? Now it's like, oh, this could hang with like a Cayman S. You know what I mean? As opposed to a stock BRZs. Never let you forget how slow they are. Never.
Especially because their cornering ability is so good.
Yeah.
And then you come out of a corner
it's the weirdest
and you stay at that
I'm
speed.
going to pin it.
I just read, I was doing some research. I think it was best driver's car or lightning lap. One of the magazines that's out right now. It's like a big group test, and I think it was VIR. It must have been lightning lap. The BRZ TS, like the new one that's got the wing and shit on it. In certain corners, like 3 or 4 places around VIR, the BRZ TS has the same speeds as like the ZR1. Like the cornering speeds
that's crazy.
Like, the cornering speeds are like way up there.
On what tires?
The Super Sports.
That's amazing.
But then it's you know, the difference on the straight is like 40 miles an hour, 50 miles. You know, it's a difference. It's like laughable.
Well, I think also how much speed are you gaining on a straight out of a corner? Because your exit speed's probably like amazing,
right?
But it can't really accelerate because you're already at a high speed.
Yeah,
depending on the corner, of course.
I mean,
right.
I think, you know, if having a hard roof will improve your life, that's going to really be the difference.
It's really the only thing.
Yeah.
But if it's just driving fun, just turbo the Miata.
Yeah.
Save money.
Yeah, thank you. Chris Goodwin says, oh yeah, he wrote me an email earlier on Iceland. Yes, I bought a 2018 Focus ST for a fun car. I've only put 1,200 miles on it since July. Will it fetch any money in 10 years if I keep it original and pristine? No. There's...
You should drive it.
You should just drive it.
Drive the wheels off it.
If it was a Focus RS, maybe. And I really am emphasizing the maybe. But STs are not actually special. They're nice.
Yeah.
But they're not collectibles.
And think about how long it took for like an Integra Type R to
but that's a pretty special
30
car,
years,
though.
right?
Yeah, 20,
right, that is.
20 years.
20 years.
Yeah.
So that's special, and it still took 20, so it's twice as long. It may, lift
that's
the
a
boat.
homologation race car.
Yeah,
they're fucking seam welded. I mean, those are very special. And also, they had a reputation for being stolen and parted out. So it's not any.
That's true.
All Integra Type Rs are not valuable.
That's
Only
very
the
true.
ones with clean titles and matching engines.
Yeah.
You can buy a Type R right now for $8,000 that's been stolen 4 times.
That'd be fun.
It's the
That'd
ones
be
that
great.
are 45 grand or 50 grand are the ones that are with low miles that have never been fucked with. So, but I
No.
But even so, like if you bought an Integra, how much was an Integra Type R new? You know what I mean? If you bought one new and kept it pristine,
I think it was
and
sub 30,000.
never drove it,
I could be wrong,
and
but-
your reward for all of that not driving was 10 G's.
Drive the car. I think always drive the car.
Yeah.
I mean, always. Unless it's something incredibly like a 911
24 grand
Touring.
new,
24 in 1997 money.
which is how much in today's money? It says it right there, which is 36,000 in today's money.
Oh, yeah.
So 36,000 in today's money, if it's the nicest one in the world, you get 45 out of it now. So it's not like you spent 8 back then to turn it into 100,
Right. You basically waited 20 years to make $9,000.
Yeah. And so if you want to, you buy.
And even if you drove it and put like 50,000 miles on it, you would still have like the lowest mile.
Right.
But
I think to Chris's question, you buy something that's a known collectible if you're going to keep it, not put many miles on it.
Right.
You want to keep it for 10 years, keep pristine. Buy a Sierra Cosworth or something, that's a known collectible already.
Good wisdom.
Thank you, Chris. Glenn says, new Lotus Evora 400 owner. Love the content. Congratulations on your Lotus Evora 400. That's a lovely car.
Envy.
Jack says 2014 M235i N55 tune thoughts.
So we ran one of these, both a 1 and a 235, Cobb tune. The N54 and N55 engines and BMW guys are about to flame and lose their minds, but
they're very sensitive.
They're super sensitive. Like it'll make
sensitive.
like 400 horsepower one time, and then 5 minutes later it makes less than stock power because it's riding the knock sensor. So, too heavily tuned or even moderately tuned, I don't know. Like it's one of those cars where it's pretty good stock as long as the injectors and wastegates are in good health. But modding those, I don't know.
Well, so I drove this one.
Yeah.
This was 2015.
Pull that over, I guess.
Selfless. Well, we're plugging our own channels. What we're doing.
Yeah, you can play our own channel.
It was very quick. The suspension was set up really well. But I had also driven when I drove. I drove the Dynan M235i.
Yeah.
The steering on these cars I don't like.
Yeah.
It's pretty numb. And the Dynan car was not really improved, even though it had a lot of suspension work. It handled really well and it was fast as shit. This car was also fast as hell, but it had much more steering feedback. So
as a long-term proposition, that
you know.
that power, I don't think is consistent or
right.
You know, that's my thought on that. I could be wrong, BMW guys.
His felt quick during the whole 20-minute drive in the heat. Now, if you're doing a track session that's longer, I mean, you probably know more than I. That's my experience has been that the engine tunes up. It obviously makes a lot of power, but I think to your point, how long will it make that power for?
Right. I'm not that big of a fan of the 235i's. I like the M2.
Oh yeah,
I'm just not
way better car.
I'm just not that big of a fan. Of
I think BMW is smart, and they went the best steering parts will go in the M2, and we'll sell it for X amount of dollars more.
Alrighty, that's one for Zach.
Do you think you get the same driving experience with the stock LS1 versus the modded LS3 car? Have done brakes and good tires.
What car are you talking about? That Camaro?
I think he's talking about the Camaro, which had a modded engine, which was it was real fast. It had 500 horsepower and felt great. I don't think I've driven that many vehicles or any with a stock LS1, to be honest.
Yeah,
everything that shows up.
My Corvette at one point, but you never drove it stock.
No, I drove it after it was done.
I mean, the thing about an LS engine is they mostly have similar feels, right? So it's just more of everything in an LS3.
It just gets to that RPM quicker.
Yeah, more power, more torque.
I mean, that car was that road was a momentum road. So I bet on a tighter road or tighter track that required more power, a modded LS3 would have had made more of a difference than if it had a stock LS3. So
yeah, this is a weird question. Abel says, "I need a car. The cheapest thing you can think of that can tow a motorcycle in Europe." The problem with this is bro, there's a lot of cheap cars out there, but what else are you willing to sacrifice? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could tow a motorcycle with a diesel Golf.
Yeah,
and they do in Europe,
and they do frequently.
For sure.
You should.
I mean, I might actually just say that. The cheapest car, like a diesel Golf or a diesel Skoda, or whatever the fucking little hatchback is. I mean, good idea. Or should I ride the bike to the track? Probably not.
No, I wouldn't do that, because then you'll ride different, or probably won't be able to ride it back one day.
Sooner or later you're gonna end up stranded.
Yeah, you're gonna totally, if you're track riding, you're probably gonna low side or something. Hopefully not, and hopefully you don't get hurt, but whatever. Get a diesel, get something with torque that tows. People tow with everything there. It's crazy.
It's crazy.
I mean, look, by the way, he says the cheapest thing you can think of that will tow a motorcycle. He then throws out the suggestion, I thought about an E39 5 Series with a gas conversion. Here's how you know these questions don't mean fucking anything, right? How is an E39 converted to gas the cheapest thing, or any kind of reasonable...
Because it doesn't work, and it's for sale because it doesn't work. I think that's what happened there.
Or it's cheap as doesn't exist. Just get a diesel hatchback. You can tow a motorcycle with a diesel hatchback. Thank you, sir. Car and Mechanical says, thank you for the free content. Oh, hope it goes... Oh, he just gave us money for...
Just gave us money.
Just so I could put money in my Lamborghini tank. Thank you. This is what happens when you're fucking rich. They just give you money already.
Super Chat is the greatest thing ever.
I didn't even have to say anything racist. Usually you have to say some racist shit for people to give you money.
Now you're truly a celebrity. That's funny.
Oh, you're welcome. Oh, yeah, he was talking about the...
He was talking about...
Okay. Hang Zhang is back with his Porsche, his rich man's question with the Porsches. What if the comparison is between a 991 GT3 and a 997 GT3 RS 4.1?
This cat clearly has a lot of money.
Bro, first off, a GT3 RS 4.1, I don't know if you're buying an existing one. If you are, get that because it's fucking rowdy. But that 4.1 is a $60,000 engine. Just the engine. So... a 991 GT3 is vastly less expensive. Like a 991 GT3 is cheaper than a 997 GT3 RS right now.
And will always be, probably.
And will probably always be because manual.
Yeah.
Plus a $60,000 engine. So what is the long-term reliability of the Sharkworks engines? Pretty good. I mean, I don't know a lot of people that blow up Sharkworks engines, and I do know a couple of people who have blown up stock engines and replaced them with Sharkworks engines. Sharkworks engines are expensive because they use really high-quality motorsport grade products. Their bottom ends are all like Molly pistons and forged cranks, and they use really high-end shit. So that's a reason they're so expensive. So I don't think there's any downside to daily driving or putting a lot of miles on a Sharky motor. I think you can buy with confidence from them, but not apples and apples. One of those cars is automatic, and the other one has a $60,000 aftermarket engine in it. Thank you, though. Marcello says, for an IRS Fox Body SVO with all the maximum motorsport bits, would it be a waste to swap in an EcoBoost 2.3? What was a waste was doing a full suspension on SVO. That was a fucking waste, because that's a slow car.
Yeah,
that's a really slow car. So if it's financially feasible for you to take your slow but good handling car and make it fast.
Well, this is a bad idea. Bowman did this, or actually started it. Remember that years ago.
Did he ever finish it?
He didn't, because he moved and sold his house and went and became a riding vagabond for a couple of years with the camper. But the big hurdle with this would be you got a brand new engine that's used to getting all these like different data points from sensors and all these other things. So either you have to install those, or and maybe I don't know, you know more about this, Tim, is you got to make sure all those sensors aren't getting tripped up and confused and turning off, because you've got an old ass body with old. Actually, that's going to be OBD1.
Yeah, that's not a.
So
that is
it's
not
not even
easy.
OBD.
It's not even OBD.
No.
The level of you have wheel speed sensors and all sorts of things that it's looking for.
Can you run a
Data points
standalone
that-
in one of those yet? Do they have a EcoBoost crate motor that you can run with a standalone?
Good question. Let's find out.
See if Ford Racing does, because like when Bowman tried this, it just didn't fucking work, right?
I think he got it like bolted in, and then very soon after, he sold everything in it.
Yeah.
So I don't know if he got to that step, but it was going to be a big hurdle.
Did you see the E30 at SEMA with the M3 drivetrain, modern?
No, that's pretty cool though.
Yeah, that's really cool. And a bunch of 20-year-old kids built it.
Really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I didn't go. Did you go to SEMA?
I did.
Did you enjoy it?
I almost never enjoy SEMA just because it's like
I know.
I'm still sort of in recovery mode. So
Yeah.
like if it's a little too intense for me. But,
I did see someone.
There were some cool cars there this year.
Someone took an old Corolla, like a late 70s Corolla, and put one of these 2.3 EcoBoosts in it. Now, it was static. I don't know if the fucking thing runs for anything, but what do you got, Zach?
So I pulled up a crate motor on Ford Performance, and they say that they do sell a 2.3, and it comes with the Ford Performance control pack, which makes for easy plug and play. So maybe you can buy that control pack, which is the parts number is listed in the add-on of the catalog. If you could buy that and plug it in, maybe, but can't you just fit a 5.0?
How much is that engine? How much is that engine?
For like a grand.
$6,000.
$6,000? For fucking $6,000, you could get a Coyote motor and make it work.
Word.
Or an LS.
You could pay someone to install a 5.0 motor for you, and you can sit and have a drink.
Seriously.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't.
And buy a spare Fox body. Seriously, the money there is.
I mean, is that your dream to have a turbo 4-cylinder Fox body? Like, if that's someone's dream, like, all right. But
was the original SVO, was it a 2.3? It was a 2.3.
It was the original shitbox 2.3.
Maybe they've got, like, it's a cool heritage thing.
I
to have a new
can see
2.3 and
an
an old 2.3.
It's nice to have a different way to skin the cat, but just find out if you can bolt this computer on first before you, or make sure you're an electrical engineer.
Yeah, it seems like a headache to me.
Yeah, it does.
All right, what else we got?
Is
that the end?
Oh,
I'm getting there.
I'm getting some new ones.
Jordan says, I'm about to garage a car, an M2 competition for the winner for the first time. I've hit up the Google. Any personal tips to avoid fucking it up?
Oh, stay-bill in the gas tank.
Yeah.
A car cover is a must, because I'm assuming you're in the Midwest, and it just seems like, I don't know, a lot of stuff lands on the car over the 3 months that you're not using it. I'd also get a C-Tech charger, because it's a smart charger that isn't going to hose electrical things.
Yep.
So those, I mean, that's kind of the...
That, and there are, I mean, I don't know if it matters for you for a new car, but there's these kind of like pillowy things that you can park have you seen those things?
There was some at SEMA, really nice ones at SEMA that have like a... Yeah.
There's these things you can kind of drive onto and park on that are sort of pillow-like. I don't know what the word is for them, but they prevent you from flat spotting your tires.
It depends which tires. If you have a racy tire, that's a legit. If you have a soft compound tire, it will be bop, 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 bop for the next, possibly forever. I mean, if you don't move it.
Flat spot protectors. There you go. $50.
The ones you're talking about, though, literally are like pillowy.
They're like pillows.
It's kind of cool. You definitely is like the enthusiast choice.
Yeah. But, I mean, an M2, it's a brand new car. Some stable in the tank, a good battery tender, and a cover. I think Tim's got it there.
Have either of you guys driven the M2 comp? This guy's asking if it's worth the money over the M2.
I haven't driven. I've driven the M2. I haven't driven the.
I heard a couple people say that it was worse.
Oh, really?
M4 GTS. I don't know. I mean, that's really the only.
It was not a good car.
Yeah,
like, the M2 was. The M2
no, I didn't
was
say it was
stiff.
a good car. I was saying that the GTS was like I didn't think it was going in the right direction. It has a really nice like half cage, and that's like it.
Yeah, and water injection. I've heard I've heard from a couple people that it was worse. The M2 was because it's stiffer. And the car just doesn't need to be any stiffer.
Probably depends on what you're doing with it.
Yeah, and I haven't priced it out, so like I don't know how much extra money it is. Now, whatever the price difference is, let's assume you get 50 to 60% of that difference back on resale. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
and depending on how many they're going to build, it could be one of those. It could be a keep and hold.
It could be a buy and hold. I do like the M2 a lot, but frankly, I've not driven a comp. I'm sorry. Can't help you. Anthony says, blah, blah, blah. Thank you for the nice words, sir. I'm wondering whether to swap an F20C motor or go for turbo into a... Is an F20 a rotary? F20C motor? Is that a rotary? Would be the Flying Miata kit. What's an F20C? Is that a rotary? It is, right? Honda F20C.
Oh,
is that a S2000 engine?
Ooh.
F20. Oh, into a Miata? Is that what he's saying?
That'd be really cool.
A flying Miata Honda.
It would be really cool. But will it fit?
I drove a K24 Miata that was sweet.
Okay.
It was nice.
Yeah, that does seem like a good idea.
But why wouldn't you just buy an S2000?
That's what I mean. Say.
That's ultimately the
Someone
problem.
already did swap that engine into a Miata, and it's called an S2000.
Yeah.
So.
I just don't.
Yeah, and it looks better.
It is cool, though. I mean, I get the mod world. You know, you would win cool prizes, and when you showed up, people would look under your hood.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
True. And it would sound amazing when you're on the track or something.
Right. I mean, it could be cool, sure. But or go turbo. I mean, I would turbo your Miata before putting a Honda engine in it. Like otherwise, just buy an S2000.
It'd probably be easier because the Flying Miata kit is made for exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
And the S2000 is you are going on a forum and hoping to find really good instructions.
Yeah.
Buying all the parts to support it. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. If you have a working engine, use that. You know.
Oh, the wisdom you're dropping today is.
But people do need to be told.
Don't throw away a perfectly good engine.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, these are questions right after SEMA. That's what's happening.
V8 S4.
Okay.
Yeah. Simon says I need a fun family car for the Northeast: a B7 RS4 or B8 S4.
So I think that here's more blasphemies coming your way. I think that performance quattros should be forced induction. The RS4 was the first like real driver's Audi.
I really like those cars. I like how they drive.
I like it too. It is not fast.
It's not fast.
It is not fast.
It's geared too short to be a V8. You got to do a lot of shifting for a V8.
And the B8 S4 APR makes a ton of products for that car that for not a lot of money.
Yeah.
It will destroy the R. I don't know. So I mean that's me.
I completely agree. And also the RS4's V8 is a ticking time bomb of plastic timing chain guides, and it can be a real problem.
It will be a real problem.
Bozy, our race car tech and genius of all things, he gave me a list of 3 engines he never wants to work on as long as he lives, and one of them is that engine.
Dude, the chain looks... seriously, it's like some sort of... it's almost like...
Can you get a B7 RS4 or Audi 4.2 TFSI timing chain diagram, because it's a fucking nightmare.
It looks like something out of Event Horizon. Like seriously, like if you've ever seen that movie, The Spaceship Goes to Hell, spoiler alert, but in hell is this engine.
I love Event Horizon. Look at that.
Movie, right?
Yeah, where was the spaceship the whole time? Inside an Audi 4.2
exactly.
timing chain. Look at that shit.
Oh God. I'm not going to sleep well just because of this. I've owned those too.
That looks like some H.R. Geiger shit in there.
Yeah, it looks like the inside of a watch.
On the other hand, the B7 RS4 is probably a good collector's item despite that.
Except for the fact that God, they all have like 120K. Yeah. I mean, there are a lot of miley cars.
Look how many different plastic guides there are. 1, 2, 3, 4.
And I think it's
5,
3. Is it 3 or 4 individual chains too?
There's a couple there.
Yeah. I counted I've counted 8 plastic guides.
Yeah.
And the number of chains, 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4. Wow, man. I mean,
Yeah, you don't want one.
wow.
You don't want one.
Yeah, so B8S4.
Yeah,
B8S4.
I would say.
You're going to love it.
Caleb says, I want to get into a classic car that is decently reliable. I just want to cruise, but still have some room for power mods. $8,000, 70s to 90s.
Well,
This is most of the cars I own.
Fox body, C4
Yeah.
Corvette.
Because classic looking depends on how old you are.
Yeah,
right.
Like a second-gen Camaro, looks classic, but maybe you think a 90s Mustang. Like,
You know what car I just bought that people love is that I never liked when I was a kid, but I found one that was cheap and I felt like they were going up, is Z31 300 ZXs.
Oh, yeah.
And they have that cool digital dash madness. So I mean, I think those seem to be people are like those are appreciating.
Andrew Collins, our friend, has one of those. It is
It's not a great car, but I do think they're going to go up in value.
Can you get old Z cars, like a 240 or a 280Z, 260Z for that much?
Yeah.
I think a Z car could be kind of fun.
I just bought a 928 too, and I
not for $7,000,
dude.
Really?
I found this collection. Oh my gosh, I'm trying to buy them all. There's like a Rolls Royce, a 328, a 308. I got the 928. It's a 80,000 mile one owner, 79. So no wing.
No, oh yeah, that's the risky business one.
It is the risky bit. Silver too. So
is it nice?
It's pretty nice. It's pretty nice.
I like how 928s drive.
So the early one, this is the first 4 or 5 I've had. I've had like the GTS and the S4. The early one is like surprisingly, it's like lighter. It feels like a lot lighter.
Yeah.
And unbelievable. I bought it just to flip, and now I'm kind of like, I'll flip it in a few years.
You're like the fourth one of my friends that has bought 928s. Chris Harris has got one. Alex Roy had one. Mike Musto has one.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Chris Harris bought a 928?
Yeah, he has a 928.
Early or late?
I think it's an early car.
Huh.
I think it's an
Chris,
earlier car,
me.
and I think it might
Let's
be
talk
928s.
928s.
I think it might be an automatic too.
Oh, really?
So I did
You
a
got
video.
Cruiser?
I did a video on an automatic because I was not a fan. I mean, who wants?
Nobody
no one wants
automatic.
it. However, it suits that car. 850s and 928s with automatics as like. Old cars you kind of don't beat on. Well, I don't know. Like your SL is a good example.
Yeah,
you don't like beat that car. So
No.
like an automatic 928 in that circumstance is okay.
Yeah, I get it. Romero says, what's the reason behind exhaust sound restriction in racetracks around the world? Neighbors. The reason is neighbors. That's it. Neighbors complain. And the neighbors, when it comes down to a legal fight, neighbors beat racetracks every time, and then sound restrictions are the compromise.
This is the bike guy. He's already crashed on the track before, and gas E39s are super cheap because everyone wants a diesel hatch.
Oh.
So
E39 BMWs are pretty reliable in my experience. I mean, like
the non-Ms.
The non-M. Yeah, and the I'm guessing there's different engines over there. So like a 3 or a 520, maybe. I think there's a 520. If you can get a 528. That has the inline 6 and is great. So I mean, yeah, that would be good. I don't know gas converting it though. I'm assuming does he mean natural gas conversion? I bet he does.
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I bet he means light, whatever they call it, LPG. And LPG conversion adds a lot. We don't do that here so much, so I don't understand. But I think it's because there's like lower taxes and it's cheaper. So yeah, I mean, then do a like you said, if you can get a 528. That would be, or a 525. That'd be awesome.
It'd be a nicer car to tow with because of the wheelbase.
Plus 63,000 kilometers.
I mean,
almost
if you can
sounds
really,
unbelievable.
Yeah, and obviously he's asking us for a market that we don't know fuck all about.
Also true.
I'm sorry I can't be more helpful, especially after you donated to me to ask that question. But Jesus, if that's really what the market is, and diesel hatchbacks are super expensive, and that E39 gas is that cheap, fuck it, go for the E39. That sounds good.
Make sure the car works.
Yeah.
Get a code reader, plug it in for real.
Yeah.
And then you'll know.
Yeah.
BMW does those like extended codes that only if you have the special code reader.
Yeah.
Those bastards.
Oh, it's
seriously.
not. Well, nowadays you can buy one of the OBD2 app things.
Yeah.
And that's way faster. And then
Right.
I bought the Peak reader, which is what you used to get, and it comes with a book. It has its own book of codes.
You need it because I just had an E60 M5. I did not enjoy code clearing because it was like
a daily occurrence.
there's like just a variety of sensors on that car, and I think they set the threshold at like maybe something. I just like Check engine light. Check engine light.
Yeah. Yeah, the service engine light can come on when the gas cap is loose.
It does, and it
aggressive.
Limits power on the E60 M5, which is not it's not what you want.
It's like a fire alarm going off if someone left the door open at a hotel or something. It's too much.
Exactly, it's a good example.
All right, last question, Matt. Do you know any good driving roads by name in New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot. Everything sort of off the Palisades Parkway, going up to Bear Mountain, Seven Lakes Drive, Lake Tiarati Brook Road, Bear Mountain Road, all those roads up there. And then on the New York side of the Hudson River, same thing between the Tappan Zee Bridge and Bear Mountain. They call that the Goat Trail. I can't remember the name of it, but it runs right along that cliff, and it's lovely.
Is it 22?
22.
22 is fantastic.
Route 301. 292 and 311 are all excellent. I don't know about Pennsylvania, but that's a pretty good one. Those are some good ones to get you started. Basically, everything around Bear Mountain is really nice. And then the area off of, if you got to go a little north, the area off of I-84 in between 684 and the Taconic. All of those roads off of 84 between 684 and the Taconic are really nice. So, yeah. Last question, then we're going to get out of here. Marcello, again with the SVO. EcoBoost was considered due to the weight distribution, and the Coyote was considered but is difficult to fit. Is not difficult to fit. Lots of people do it. And I was an auto engineer. I mean, whatever. All right. Fine. I think that's a fucking waste of money. That's just me. I think it's a waste of money. You put an LS in it. That's it. An LS is the end. It has more power, more torque, and it's smaller.
Engine swaps are hard.
Engine swaps.
I mean, even if you're an engineer, I haven't driven too many cars with engine swaps that I was like, I want this car. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like most of them, I'm like, God, I'm glad I don't own this car. I had a Volkswagen Quantum Synchro with a Rally 5-cylinder turbo swapped into it.
That sounds fun.
Awesome. Sounds
like a
awesome.
good idea.
It sounds so awesome that I bought and sold it 3 times because I missed it when it was gone, but it never ran right. And so it's like engine swaps. When I say that, when I say 5-cylinder Rally engine and a Quantum Synchro, you're like, oh, that's so bad. That'd be great. No,
of course,
it will never run. It will always be like.
It's a great Instagram car.
It is,
or it's a great car show car. And I think if you're an engineer and you figure out whether or not the computer they sell, whether or not they sell the computer online, and whether or not it will work for what you want to do easily. All right, cool. It is cooler to have an EcoBoost, or sorry, an SVO that now has the new turbo engine.
Yeah,
that's a cool thing to do. And everyone puts LSs in everything. So, all right, if you can do it and it's not too difficult, then fucking do it.
Yeah,
for real. But just know what you're getting into, and make sure you investigate first before you order the engine.
And realize that at the end of all of that work, at the end, you have 300 horsepower. That's what all of your fucking work is for. Whereas, what's that motor? $6,000?
Yeah.
Okay, you could get a Coyote.
You get an LS7
or any
an LS7 for $6,000. You do the same amount of work, 500 horsepower and 500 pounds of torque. You know what I mean? Or a Coyote, 420 fucking horsepower, 440 horsepower, depending on how much you do, right?
And the weight distribution. People talk about 4-cylinder like iron block stuff versus like, it's not like. It's just not that much. Plus, if you're swapping it in, you can move the motor mount location. You can move it back.
Put the battery in the trunk.
Right. I mean, you can. You're building the car. You can adjust the weight bias. You can say, you know what, I'm going to move the motor mounts back here, and
use a Maximum Motorsports K member, and you save fucking 60 pounds in the front.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
You can do all kinds of shit. The LS7's that's a brand new one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you get an LS7 out of a fucking junkyard or something.
Yeah.
All right. That's a show. What do you say? I think that's a show. We got to go make a video right now. Thank you to all of you who played Tim's Enthusiast Garage on YouTube. You're Tim's Enthusiast Garage everywhere. Is it Tim's Enthusiast Garage?
Tim's Enthusiast Garage, Instagram, Tim's Enthusiast Garage, Facebook, Tim's Enthusiast Garage, YouTube.
That is how you fucking make shit work, by making the cross-platform names all the same.
Yes.
I watched that panel truck. That thing
Isn't
is
that
fucking
thing crazy?
rad.
I love that guy that owns it, man.
That
really
is
cool.
a rad panel truck. Yeah, and I think you have open invite next time you're in town. Come back and see us,
brother. I really appreciate that.
Yeah.
I seriously can't thank you enough.
Oh no, this is good. Good luck with your channel. Get growing it and making it work. Everyone should subscribe. I'm sorry you were blocked for a couple days. I don't know how that happened.
I only saw the friend request, so for me it was only smiles.
Yeah,
so.
no problem. Well, then you're not blocked anymore.
I promise not to comment on your Instagram.
You can't. Don't matter. It don't matter to Jesus.
You people ruined it. You people ruined it with your nasty, snarky comments.
They fucking ruined it,
They
and
did.
it's gone forever. And I feel better. I've read fucking 4 books since
That's awesome.
Yeah, since I turned comments off.
Oh, cool. I was gonna ask you how that went.
It went great. I've been reading books written by really smart people. That's great. It's great, but also depressing because I'm learning what a shitty place our country can be.
Oh,
which is depressing. Vote. Fucking vote, people.
Definitely.
If you fucking don't vote, you end up where we are. Thank you very much. Thanks, Tim Neely from Tim's Enthusiast Garage. All right, folks, we're going to get out of here and go make a video with my 911 in the city. See you later. Good day.